And welcome back to the Gadget Spot.
Hey, I'm back, guys. You missed me so much. I'm so glad I'm back.
Yeah, if you couldn't tell from the last episode, we super duper missed you, Jarron.
Yep. And
I'm only being half sarcastic.
I'm excited for this episode because Jarron, I've heard, has notes. He's gonna attack me physically for something, and yeah, so I'm just really stoked.
It's gonna be good.
Just keep your arms up here, and then play rope-a-dope and tire them out.
Yeah, I can't do anything sportsy like that.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm doomed.
lock yourself in the bathroom. I put a soft close toilet seat over there.
Oh, sweet.
I don't know how that makes it better.
What?
Silent. It's
I
silent.
put it in.
Well, I supplied it.
Yeah, you did. But I did the hard work of
I think he's
cleaning
got
up
it.
the
No, he's got
toilet
it.
and then putting it in.
James has a point.
Ownership is 9/10 of the given.
All right.
I think you need to put that on a postcard.
This is
And then send it to myself.
this is the Gadget Spot where we talk about tech gadgets and video games
And postage.
and toilets and Jarron, and let's go ahead and get the show started. Owen, introduce yourself.
Hey, my name's Owen. You can follow me on Twitter at TechNoan. I might be swearing off Twitter. I'm not ready for it.
You've been using it responsible, though, in comparison to most people.
That's not wrong, but I haven't been using it. So most people don't use it responsibly. Oh, well, that's a very clever point, James.
So stay on it, man.
Wow,
Be a
Maybe
lurker.
That's what I'll do. I do like lurking.
I have been reading books since we last talked, so I have gotten smarter.
Well,
I don't believe it.
That's it for me, though. I haven't been able to
No
play
games?
games. Yeah, it's been really busy couple weeks for me.
Fair enough. All right, Jarron.
Hi, I'm Jarron. I'm back from Europe. And
Is that how they pronounce it there?
yeah, it's totally bizarre.
Europe.
Yep. Europe. And as Tony mentioned, I did take some notes. And is now a good time?
I think
Okay.
Owen mentioned it actually.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
can get to it after we finish introducing everyone.
I had it up and ready.
I know you did.
That's what she said.
Why
He
did
said?
she say
I
that?
don't know. Maybe
Where did you go on
can't-
vacation?
I don't
again?
think you can
Amsterdam.
I don't.
It makes sense.
I don't think you can. What? That's what she said. Your own joke, though. I think that you violated some
So
sort
that's
of.
two wrongs.
Yeah.
That's how they do it in Europe.
Oh.
Europe. All right.
Europe.
So I have been playing some games. Not many when I was on vacation, but I played some since I got back. I played Overwatch, like one game, and
did?
bizarrely, I can't remember which character. She's a woman. She has a jetpack. She has a rocket.
Farrah.
Rocket launch. Farrah.
Yeah.
I kicked butt.
Dude, what system did you play it on?
PC.
That's why.
I got a 9 kill streak.
Dude,
Wow.
Farrah on PC
Yeah.
is really, really good
I
because you can aim a lot better.
I felt like I did so well I can never play that game again.
You peaked. on
Did
the
you ever
first
play
game.
Yeah.
Team Fortress?
A little
back
bit.
in the day.
Back in the day,
What
a
was
little
your main?
I don't remember.
Oh.
It's been too long.
Would have thought.
I don't remember what they're called. Yeah, that's probably it. I also played some Quake 2 RTX.
Ooh.
Yeah. That game is incredibly boring after like 20 minutes. But
It kind of is.
yeah, it is. But it looks so dang good.
It's definitely, it deserves its place in the history and Hall of Fame because of what it was at the time that it was made.
Yeah.
But you compare it now to modern first-person shooters, and it's kind of, it doesn't hold up as well.
The sound is incredibly annoying. There's this constant beating in the background, like bum, bum. And it drives you nuts after a while.
Some sound engineer made all of his money off of like one note. Doom.
But the game looks so good. In certain scenes, it actually, I think, looks better than Doom 2016.
Yeah.
Scenes that doesn't have characters in it, obviously, because the
Right.
character models are horrible. But the lighting is just so amazing with RTX. So
And the reflections.
it does real-time ray tracing for reflections, global illumination, and shadows all at the same time. It looks so good.
Basically, the only thing that the ray tracing doesn't do is like the polygon rendering and the texture rendering.
Yeah.
That's it. It does everything else.
So when RTX is on, my GPU is at 99%.
Yep.
I have to run it
Holy
at
moly.
1440p because it
Yep.
doesn't even run in 4K well.
Do you keep that door open when you play, or do you have to crack a window?
It heats up.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And when I turn ray tracing off, my GPU utilization's at 0%.
Yep.
It's just pretty great. And I played one last game. I don't remember what it was, so it mustn't have been very impressive in my mind.
Cool story, bro.
Yeah.
All right.
You painted a picture for me. I feel like I'm there.
James.
Hey,
Spider-Man! It was Spider-Man!
Oh, on the
I
PS4.
thought
Yeah.
you were calling me Spider-Man.
Yeah, Spider-Man on the PS4.
That's a great game.
The web slinging feels so awesome, and it really feels like you're a superhero until you meet someone with a baseball bat or crowbar. and then you just can't punch the stupid guy.
Is
Well, you
webbing-
figure out how to get around it, and
you
then
have
you
to
feel
hold
like
down-
you're a superhero
No,
again.
you have to hold down the button, and so if you hold down the button, you can't dodge. So somebody's shooting you in the head just because somebody has a dang crowbar.
Sounds like you just suck.
I was going to second that.
I never denied that.
Is the webbing in that game organic or mechanical?
Mechanical.
Yep.
So is like reloading canisters of like webbing
No.
a factor?
He never has to do that.
Well, what's cool though is you actually have to latch on buildings,
Yeah.
or else you can't.
You can't just web swing off
Yeah.
the sky
Yeah, like you used to.
Yeah,
like hop on
exactly.
top of like the Empire State Building
and web swing off of that. Yeah.
Yeah, didn't the Scarlet, if I'm not mistaken, I think Scarlet Spider, Ben B. Parker or something, Ben P. Parker?
No, Ben Riley.
Ben Riley, that's right. Wasn't he based in Salt Lake for a while when Venom was after him?
It might have been.
Or Carnage or one of them?
I thought it was San Francisco, but I can't remember. for
Yeah,
sure. Maybe it was.
I
Salt
just
Lake,
remember.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. But if it was Salt Lake, I just remember thinking like, well, he's gonna, web sling around one building.
Yeah, exactly. He'll spend most of his time on the ground or jumping over things.
Yeah. What's up, guys? I've been. You can catch me on Twitter at JDD Jensen. JDD is for ADD. You can catch me at nowhere else besides that. I've kind of taken a break on a lot of other things, but the thing that I haven't taken a break on is playing RimWorld. I relapsed.
I feel like that's because of my last episode where I
Unsurprising.
asked about it.
Yeah, that was you.
Yeah, and I was like, "Hey, what about the androids?" And you're like, "Did you get in the shot? Did you get in the?" And then I just let you go.
Dude, the mods in that game are what keep me in that game. Outside of that, I've just been watching a lot of Netflix because after we put our little girl to bed, it's our time, and it's hard to give that time up for productive things around the house. So we watched Chernobyl. That's really, really good.
Really good.
Yeah.
Can you dude? If that ever happened in real life, how
It did
devastating do
happen
you think
in
it would
real
be?
life.
What?
Chernobyl's a true story.
Yeah, Chernobyl really happened.
Wait! You did not know this?
I mean, the show is
You're-
fictionally
in
based.
England?
You're kidding,
No,
right?
in Russia.
In Russia,
Then why did everybody have an English accent?
because it was made by non-Russian television.
If they spoke
was-
Russian, we wouldn't
Yeah,
understand
it was made by
This
HBO.
hurts a little bit, but yeah, it's a real story.
It's a real thing.
I mean, it's
actually.
fictionally portrayed in the show.
People
Chernobyl.
melted though.
Yeah.
How are people okay with this?
Yeah.
Well, they
It's-
weren't.
You still, in fact, actually, you can live there. You can live there as of 2014 or 20 something.
in certain parts. There's
Yeah.
still exclusion zones that you're not allowed into.
Yeah. But the main danger out there is for infrastructure that hasn't been taken care of, and it could fall on your head.
Guys, James looks very disturbed right now.
He's
Did you-
taking to Google right
Are
now.
you serious? You did not know that Chernobyl was real?
Is Chernobyl real?
He thinks we're messing with him. I can see that though. That'd be the biggest.
What?
Dude, it's the real deal.
Yeah. Anyway, how'd you like the show though?
Our host is Tony.
Hey,
Okay.
I'm Tony. Check me out on Twitter at QuadT. I just don't know where to go after that.
Yeah.
Like how,
There is nowhere to go.
We
We should just end the podcast
I am
right
just.
now.
I am honestly
We're gonna let him.
dumbfounded.
Let's let him figure. Let's let him Google
April
that.
Fools. I totally knew it.
Yeah,
You
I
guys
think
are-
you're
you guys are
lying.
ridiculous. You guys will always be in disbelief.
Nope.
Who wouldn't know that Chernobyl's? I was
James.
kind of weirded out
James
though that
didn't
they
know that
they
it was-
had like English accents. And my favorite thing is
Did
anywhere.
you finish it yet?
Oh yeah, dude, I did it in a day.
I'm just gonna tell you that Google is gonna remember that search that you just did forever.
Oh man, they
you'll never
categorized me in
escape
the
it.
dum dum
Mhm, they're like,
department, didn't they?
Downgrade his IQ.
Oh, don't worry, James. They already knew that.
Restrict his internet access. He obviously doesn't know what he's looking for.
Oh man.
But I knew that it was real, but I just didn't know the extent of the cleanup. And on top
Oh,
of
yeah,
that,
dude.
what radiation actually does to your body.
Melts
They
you.
didn't
Cooks you
actually-
from the inside out.
That's insane. And
They
it-
didn't actually put the top on it until 2 years ago.
what?
Yeah. The
What?
If you look at pictures currently of reactor 2 and 3, I think is what it covers. There's a huge kind of dome arch looking device
Yeah.
that just barely got slid into place 2 years ago, and it only lasts 100 years.
That's
they
the thing
have
that
to
like
redo it
blows
again
my
after
mind.
100 years.
Well, that's if we are around in 100 years.
Assuming, yeah,
With
we
that
haven't
being
killed
said, like,
ourselves already.
can you imagine just going up at? I mean, it's the firefighters that I felt the worst. Just spoiler alert, a little bit on Chernobyl, but this is an actual historical event that happened in like 1983.
Now you know.
But
that.
I
like,
think it was like 86, but yeah,
no, it was 80. Oh, it was 86. It was the year before I was born.
yeah, year after I was born.
because you're older than me.
I am.
So, but what was insane is just like the people. I feel so bad for the firefighters, like picking it up with
The one that picked up the graphite at first.
And dude, like the way that it affects your body, the fact that it's like it just makes you super sick, and then it looks like you're gonna get better,
Yeah.
and just a heads up, it gets like way worse.
And then you die.
Then you liquefy, and
Yeah,
you know.
basically your organs liquefy.
Ugh, that would be
Just crazy. It was an amazingly well done series though. Like, it's in my top 3 of TV.
I think it's the highest rated
Series.
thing ever on IMDb.
It is, yeah, currently.
Jeez.
It was like I did the same thing I watched it all in one day, and it made me kind of depressed.
The
that
first,
day.
yeah. Oh, I'm sure.
was
But
just
the
like,
first 3
oh.
episodes, it gets you so frustrated because all this stuff goes down and they're giving you zero context. But I
Yeah.
actually dig it in retrospect because they do eventually talk about literally everything.
Yep.
But it leaves you in just the same kind of like confusion that I'm sure those people went through.
Yeah,
It was
crazy
insane.
stuff.
So what have you been doing?
Let's see. So, what did I say? Check me out on Twitter at QuadTTony. Every other week here on the Gadget Spotter. Every week on the Geek Show podcast. And I have been playing. I feel like I completed a game last week. Arkham Knight. Did I say that last time? Did I say that I finished Arkham Knight last time?
No.
I think you said that you were
I
a
think I
good
was
deal
close.
into
Yeah.
it.
So I finished it off.
Oh
now.
yeah, because I asked you if you were past the
Jason Todd part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, spoiler alert. Okay.
Yeah.
Some people
Spoiler.
didn't see that coming from 100 miles away.
Hey, I haven't played that game yet.
Well, then you don't know what we're talking about.
I know who Jason Todd is.
You have no frame of reference.
Yes, I do. He's the Arkham Knight.
Well, how do you know that?
Because I listened to last week's podcast and now I'm upset.
Well, I'm kind of sorry, sort of.
Sorry, not
A
sorry.
Would you
bit.
say that was your
Sorry.
personal Chernobyl? Huh? Tie-in.
Meltdown.
I don't think so.
How do you say Chernobyl?
Chernobyl.
No, it's just Chernobyl.
Yeah, you're saying Chernobyl.
No, he's
There's
not.
no chairs.
You know what? You know what?
Chernobyl.
Nobody has to attack James on that.
Oh, yeah.
That's okay.
I apologize.
Jeez.
I'm sorry.
So let's see. So I finished that off, and I started the first couple hours of Detroit Become Human on the PS4. Man, that is a pretty game. Holy
Did you
cow.
buy that?
Yeah, I bought that one.
Wow.
Really, really good looking game. It's, like, regardless of console, PC, whatever, it's amazing looking. And then I am on the final boss of the Borderlands 2 DLC that was free that came out at E3 that we will talk about a little bit later.
Oh, yeah.
You know it. I think that's it. So let's hit up our Patreon subscribers because they are the best.
Hey, I'm glad I can read it this time.
I
'cause
know.
Last time was a disaster.
It was
Train wreck.
painful.
It wasn't even a train wreck.
There was
It
no train.
It was it was like a.
It was a Chernobyl.
It was a
Chernobyl.
Chernobyl. It was a
Play a
meltdown.
Chernobyl.
Now
I
that's a
didn't-
tie-in.
I didn't think it was that bad.
Why?
Okay.
Why not?
Maybe somebody here was trying his best at reading names, and a lot of people were from Utah. Okay,
wasn't-
we hyphenate here, put
know-
multiple capitalizations and numbers in names.
It wasn't so much the reading of the
Hashtag
names.
back off.
It was finding the names.
Oh,
That was the hard part.
No, the reading was bad too.
Well,
Let's-
yeah,
yeah.
don't get me wrong. It was bad too, but
No, you got me to agree.
So Patreon is a way for you, our listeners, to support our show if you like us. If you like us and don't want to support our show, that's cool too. But if you want to support our show, go to
Gadget Spot.
patreon.com/Gadget Spot. And if you donate $6 or above, we read your name on the show. So here we go. Big shout out to AJ Jasper, David Broshinsky, and Aaron Young. You guys are the light of our life. Josh Sidaway, Master Chief, Hardware,
Hey.
Adam Hecht, Ryan Baker, Aaron Faulkner, Platinumed. I take it that Joe Reedy Platinumed.
We need to do something.
Sekiro.
Sekiro, yeah.
Yeah.
We need to do something nice for those two. Unless there's more. Sorry, I'll let you finish.
Congrats, Joe Reedy. I'm proud for you. Adam Foote, Spencer Knowlton. I can make Jarron say anything for $6. Ryan McQueen, Michael Beck, Jeffrey Kale, Roger Allen, Austin Beauregard, Brian Lee, Conrad Southworth.
All right. Thank you so much, Patreon subscribers. He was distracted, so he didn't do it.
Beauregard. I was going to wait till I was halfway through a story to do it.
Uh-huh.
I knew you were going to do it.
All right.
I had faith in you.
Thank you so much, Patreon backers. It would be hard, if not impossible, to do the show without you. Now, do we have any emails? Are we?
Nope.
Email
Hey,
free.
I have an idea though. In the place of our vacant emails.
My
I
notes.
thought we had an email. Do we not? Okay.
My notes.
So my idea is
Let's just get
My
that out of the
notes.
way. Let's let him get his vein popped
Let-
out so it can start going back down now.
The-
and
the-
just get it
my
over.
my idea is I would like to start a hotline for the show because sometimes it takes time and effort to write an email or go to our website Gadget Spot.
So you want to give
Yeah.
listeners your phone number?
No,
Okay,
I'm gonna
so
start
they
a
would
different-
call it. So they would
Give it
call
out.
in. They would call in and leave
And
a
record it.
and leave a message.
Yeah.
Well, we could just start a new Google Voice number, and then it has a voicemail
Exactly,
attached to
and
it.
then that way they could ask questions and hear themselves on the show. James just had a good idea.
Interesting.
If
We'll
if
talk
you-
about this off mic.
If it
but
actually
I kind
happens-
of like where
Okay,
it's going.
James,
go
that's
to
not bad.
GadgetSpot.com,
Hey,
and then there'll be the
I thought it was .net. dude.
.net.
yeah.
Yep.
Come
you
on.
made that site and you just called it .com. Jadspot.net.
And the phone number will be there. Go ahead.
Oh, Jarron.
Oh, is it my turn?
Yeah, you have some notes.
Yeah. All right.
What,
So
what are these notes about?
Some such nonsense.
I was listening to this podcast on the airplane because there's nothing else better to do.
No.
yes, we're better than nothing. yes,
Yeah,
finally.
winning.
Winning.
And
That's an upgrade from where we were. Oh, I haven't deleted this yet?
What's this still doing here?
as I was listening, there were a few things that made my vein pop out.
We were hoping so.
You know the one. All right, so to start things out, I'm just gonna go through all these really fast. First one, I fell asleep when Tony was talking. Second one,
You did not. You were hanging on my every word.
yeah, that's bull crap.
You loved it. What was I talking about?
Processors.
Processors. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. We got news about processors this time too.
Yeah, I'm so excited.
I know.
Okay, second one, I do not make you turn off the lights.
Yeah, apparently to prove his point, he
Yes.
turned every light on in the basement.
Every light in the basement is on right
except
now.
for the stairway
why-
light.
Yep,
That's
that
why
one's
it's so
I'm
bright.
Too cheap to turn on the stairway.
Yeah,
light.
Every time I ask you, do you guys want these lights on? And you just don't say anything. So I'm like, okay, I guess I'm going to put it to a nice, comfortable
Black.
black, which I like.
Dark.
Can you turn my headphones down a little bit? He's yelling a lot. It's hurting my drums.
Third one, you're all poopy heads.
You put that in the notes?
That's valid.
Yes. Fourth
okay,
one,
point.
I am the glue that holds the podcast together.
Wait, what kind of glue are we talking? Is it like paper mache glue or
Yeah,
is it
sure.
like, okay.
Yeah.
Elmer's.
Fifth one, James, really? With the Patreon names?
You deserve that.
What? We already said
Do you
that
see
like a while ago.
Do you see why I don't do new things?
You know what? The older I get, the more stuff that Owen does makes more sense. And yeah, I see you looking at my T-shirt. We're going to talk about it later.
As
that
the
a
senior on the
platypus?
senior
we'll
on
talk
the
about it in just a
podcast, I am the one. I've been through all this.
Are you really the oldest one
He
here?
is,
Yeah,
yeah. He's
for
the
sure.
senior on the podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He wouldn't know it. But
And last one, I heart Owen for calling me a young Nathan Drake, and the movie will be awesome.
yeah, I did that to gain karma.
I know you did, and apparently it worked.
It worked.
Yeah.
Hey, can we turn some of these lights off? They're too bright.
Yeah.
All right, let's see. So, since there's no emails that we need to address right now, let's go right into some topics. E3 happened last week. It happened like 3 days, or it started like 2 days after we recorded the previous episode. So, we're coming at you live 2 weeks late with news from E3.
So this is just going to be our opinions on it.
This is pretty much our E3 recap episode and a few other things.
was-
there's a crypto moment in here somewhere.
It was a good E E3.
There's a crypto moment.
I thought it was a really good E3. There were a few things that disappointed me a little bit, but overall, very good E3.
Yeah.
Because
totally.
it's a lot better than it usually is right now in the cycle of console generations. Because usually the year before they announce big stuff for new consoles, it's like a dead year where there's almost nothing. Which is why Sony backed out of E3 this year, because they didn't have anything new to show.
Boo.
They're saving it all for next year with their hardware release, right?
Exactly, yeah. And so we had big announcements from Xbox. We had some decent announcements from Bethesda. A dark horse candidate this year for E3 by far is Nintendo. Nobody knew that they had anything that cool planned, and they put on a 23-minute video that was just awesome. Many people consider it the best keynote of E3.
Which is weird
Any
because
dancing? No dancing?
Ubisoft's plenty of dancing.
Okay.
Always.
I would have thought Nintendo would have done more with their Treehouse. Not at E3, but
Well, I mean, they always have a Nintendo Direct
yeah.
during the week of E3,
Yeah.
and that's what I'm talking about.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Then I know. Yeah.
Yeah, so they had their 20, and they're usually the Nintendo Directs or the Treehouse, whatever you want to call them. They're usually only last like 6 or 7, maybe 8 minutes. This one went for 23, but it had a lot of really good stuff in it. So let's kick it off with some hardware. Project Scarlet is the code name for the next Xbox.
I haven't played my Xbox One X enough.
Whose fault is that?
That's their fault for not putting Halo out yet.
It's there.
No, the new one.
Oh, the new
man.
one.
So Project
Infinite.
Scarlet looks pretty close to what Sony announced.
Yeah, it seems like it's almost like they're getting their hardware from the same company.
Imagine that.
Oh, wait,
so
they are.
it'll have an SSD. They haven't really talked about speeds of the SSD, have they?
They just said it's fast.
If it's anything like Sony's, it'll be super fast, but we don't know.
Sony's usually has claimed they're using a proprietary SSD technology.
It sounds like it's just PCI Express 4 to me.
It's
'cause-
a tweaked PCI Express 4.
Yeah.
Sony's in a unique market though, because they make their own.
Nope.
Oh no, but they source their stuff from the same place as Nintendo or as Xbox.
Yeah, Xbox and Microsoft and Sony, just like last gen, the Xbox One and the PlayStation 4 get their CPU and GPU combo
From China.
Well, yeah, that's where it's manufactured from.
Brought to you first by James.
AMD.
AMD.
Yeah.
But if it's anything like what Digital Foundry speculated, the storage, it sounds really enticing to me because it's going to be so fast that companies can use it kind of as a second layer of RAM.
Yeah, secondary RAM storage.
Yeah, so
And that's the video we linked to in our notes, is a really interesting about 16-minute breakdown from a couple of guys at Digital Foundry, and they take everything they've seen from the announcements of Microsoft and do a fantastic job of kind of putting all the pieces together that are there and giving you a decent idea of what Project Scarlet
Does it come with Windows?
Well, funny you should ask. No, but every Xbox has a stripped down version of Windows. That's the OS that it runs.
Because it's so powerful, I almost kind of want to replace it with my work computer. That'd be awesome.
That'd be interesting if you could.
Well, I just saw the 8K and I was sold, man.
So yeah, they're saying it'll do 8K, which I still think is ridiculous sounding.
yeah, no one's going to do 8K on that thing.
If anything, it'll be like 8K video, not 8K gaming.
which is also worthless.
because there's one 8K television on the market and it costs I think $40,000.
The only way 8K would be beneficial to your human eyes is if it's a gigantic screen, like 120 inches or above.
Yep.
But even still, that's when you should focus more on bit rate than actual screen size.
Yeah,
Make it
I
look
agree
good.
with you. If you have higher bit rate, you get rid of that macro blocking and all the grossness.
They also said that it'll support up to 120 frames per second, which is another pretty bold and slightly outlandish claim.
Yeah, with the kind of graphics they're pushing, especially if they do ray tracing like they say they will, they're not
they
going to break.
actually-
They're not going to break 60.
Is it going to be true ray tracing?
They said
They said
they
it will.
did say hardware based ray tracing
with an AMD GPU.
yeah,
And
so
That's interesting because
that's still we don't know what that means.
Right.
I feel like they're catfishing you guys right now. Buy us.
they're going to be using the Navi architecture, and AMD has announced the Navi architecture, and there's no ray tracing on that. So who knows what it's going to
So
be?
the speculation is that they have announced the Navi stuff for this year, and they're going to announce higher powered Navi stuff next year, and maybe that will have. But then the other thing too is AMD will do secret sauce stuff for their hardware if a company's big enough and asks for it.
That's what they've done historically to stay in the market. Is like set some stuff,
Custom stuff.
custom
Well,
stuff.
give me like an example.
Well, okay, so the Xbox One uses an AMD chip CPU and GPU, but it also has a special 32 megabyte cache of RAM called ESRAM.
Yeah.
PlayStation's doesn't have that.
Is it specifically made for that system?
Exactly. 100% custom made for that system. And so they could be doing some sort of hardware that will accelerate ray tracing on the Xbox, the next Xbox.
People are smart. Have you ever thought about that? How
have.
smart people have to be?
Yes.
So we'll see how it goes. It'll have the new Ryzen 3rd generation based on the Zen 2 architecture.
Which is a huge,
Yeah.
huge leap over the current CPU in both the PlayStation and the Xbox One.
It's doing really well in benchmarks currently.
Yes,
Yeah.
it is.
Huge leap in processing power, not so much of a big leap in GPU power.
The interesting thing that the Digital Foundry goes into that a little bit is they've so when AMD talked about Navi, they said it has I think they said it's 15% more powerful than the Vega 64 stuff, which was last year's AMD GPU. But the teraflops, the way that they rate compute performance, is actually less than the Vega 64.
Yeah, that is really interesting.
I don't know how they are able to have less power but more performance
So
in the way that things
gonna
are
come
calculated.
If
Preloaded
Terra-
with a gerbil inside of it.
if teraflops isn't measuring performance, what is it measuring then?
Yeah.
I'm confused.
Which is what we've always relied on for the measurement of performance.
yeah.
They're
For
like kind
GPUs,
of breaking
yeah.
the mold by saying, yeah, well, it's got better this.
Yep.
Microsoft
teraflops.
claims that Project Scarlet is 4 times faster or 4 times more performant
Four
in
times
graphics
more powerful
than the
just
Xbox
said,
One X.
They just said 4 times more powerful. They didn't say graphically. They just said 4 times more powerful.
What does that mean with the CPU, with the GPU?
I think that means you roll everything up in one ball, and the ball that is Xbox One X and the ball that will be Project Scarlet is the Project Scarlet one is 4 times bigger than the ball that is Xbox One X.
so. It's a meaningless number.
It really is.
It really is.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's so hit me with they're not going to announce cost, but what do you think?
I'm betting $500.
You think so?
Yeah, me too.
The only way it will be less than 500 is if Sony's is less than 500. I don't think they will.
You're not
they're
going to take a $50 bath on each one just to push their subscription service?
They'll take a bath.
They'll take a bath, but
No matter what.
they're not going to price themselves out of the market again like they did with the Xbox One versus the PS4.
We've talked about this now for going on 15 minutes, and you still haven't mentioned my favorite thing about it,
Which is?
the controller.
Oh, they announced the Elite 2 controller.
Oh.
Is that what you're talking about?
No.
Well, they announced the Xbox Elite 2 controller, and that looks really good too.
It does, and it's
I'm excited for it, and it's still expensive.
pricey.
Still pricey.
How much is it?
$180.
And what do you
For a
get?
controller?
And what do you
Yeah.
get out of it?
a
So-
second system?
So you get adjustable thumbstick tension. You can change how floppy or tight the thumbsticks
Okay.
are, which is
That's nice.
brand new.
Yeah.
You get changeable thumbsticks, which was in the first Elite.
Right.
You get changeable D-pad, I believe, which was in the first Elite. You get an internal lithium-ion battery this time, so no double A's, and
nice.
it will last 40 hours per charge. You also get the proprietary Xbox Wi-Fi connection for the Xbox, or the dongle for the PC, or it will finally have Bluetooth 5.0.
Oh.
So if you want to just hook it up via Bluetooth to a computer or something like that, it'll work.
It looks the exact same.
It looks very similar. Now the original Elite had one set of hair triggers, so you could either have full trigger press or half to get the same amount of, or to get the button depressed. This one will have 2 settings. You have like 1/3, 1/2, and full.
Oh.
So you can set. I mean, there's a lot of just like tweakable, interesting things. This one has 3 profiles that you can save to the controller. You hit a button. You hit the profile button, and it'll go from, like, say you have a special setup you want for your FPS games as profile 1. You have a special setup you want for racing games as profile 2. You just hit the button, and it cycles through your profiles.
Now I have a question. I have got a big question about the controller coming out. It's talking about customization. It's
got the paddles
for
underneath.
Jarron. When you
Yes.
play games, what's the extent of you actually customizing the control to the game?
I always change inverted look. That's it.
Yeah, me too. Do you guys ever do anything like that?
I always leave inverted off because only
Airplane.
crazy homunculus
No.
uses...
If you grab someone's head and tilt it back, they're going to be looking up.
This is the dumb... No, I don't think so.
Yeah,
I
it's true. And
I
if you tilt it
disagree.
forward-
So he does
They're gonna be
down
looking
is
down.
up and up is down.
And you know what?
Ugh.
I see when there's a cursor on the screen and I want the cursor to move up, I move the joystick up.
No, that
a-
makes no sense.
It's a first person shooter, so up is
Is up.
You think since
Down
you're so
is
tall, you'd be grabbing more people's heads.
You would, but I don't. I try not
mean,
to.
You should try it. It'll make more sense.
he's turning the camera into a person that's
Yeah.
But that's the thing is
see.
you're playing it from the perspective of behind the person's head. I'm playing it from
Right
the
from the
perspective of
eyes.
the eyes of the person.
Ooh, this
Ah.
is not where I meant for it to go. I was just talking about
But
with the
now-
customization
now
of
as
this
far
controller.
As
like,
far as the customization on this controller, I have an Xbox One Elite controller, and I always set up the paddles to be the thumb clicks, so I never
okay.
have to click down on a thumb.
Interesting.
And you just use the
Oh,
paddles.
because that's always hard to do on those 360.
Yeah, especially if you're
pads.
trying to aim or something and you have to sprint.
Gosh, that
it
always
throws
kills
your
me.
aim off.
It always kills me in Titanfall and in.
Yep. So now I just click on the bottom and it works great.
Because that's the thing. I've been watching some StarCraft videos that they play back in Asia, and they whip out rulers and they got all that stuff. I can't imagine just like for each one, it's like I need to set this 2 clicks to the right. Man, it's too much.
I don't think
work.
I'm going to buy the next Xbox because Microsoft has been so good at supporting games on PC.
Well, that was another of their big announcements is their big push for cross play and cross buy and cross save. So they have their Ultimate Pass now, Xbox Ultimate,
Game Pass Ultimate.
which gets you all of the Game Pass games on Xbox. It gets you all of the Game Pass games on PC as well.
And here's a tip for
and,
you.
And it counts as your gold subscription too.
Yep. Here's
Ooh,
a tip
that's
for you
worth it.
listeners out there. So right now, Microsoft is doing a deal where it will convert any Xbox Live you have to Game Pass Ultimate for just $1. So it'll do it up to 36 months. So if you have 36 months of Xbox Live, you pay $1. Suddenly, you'll have 36 months of Xbox Game Pass Ultimate. So free games, pretty much, well, for $1, up to 36 months.
And it renews your gold subscription for a year.
36 months.
Oh yeah, for 36
So if you
months.
bank 36 months or up to 36 months of gold, like you buy the passes and just input the codes, so it says like your gold expires in January of 2026 or 2021. Then you pay that $1 and all of a sudden now it's you
Game
have
Pass.
Xbox Ultimate Pass until January 2021.
Ooh, that's worth it.
Yeah, it's only $1. So my advice is if you have a little bit of spare dough, load up as much Xbox Gold as you can, and then pay that $1 to convert it to Ultimate.
Yep, has some good games too, like Wolfenstein 2, Sea of Thieves, all the Microsoft published games.
Yep. I've been playing. Oh, I forgot. I played a little bit of Void Bastards.
What is that?
It's a roguelite first-person shooter.
Oh,
It's pretty fun. Takes place in space. The graphics are like straight out of a comic book.
Oh.
It's really interesting.
I still want to play Elite Dangerous sometime. I could
should.
never get into that game. It's just the controls on that are so weird.
It sounds cool, right?
Yeah.
So Xbox announced or showed off 60 different games, 14 of which were Xbox exclusive or Xbox PC exclusive.
They've fixed it this year.
Yeah,
because
they've-
remember that's what they've struggled with.
Yeah.
That's kind of what tanked the Xbox One was.
One of the big things.
Yeah, people are like, you guys don't have any exclusives.
Yep. And so they're really beefing up that catalog right now. And then let's see, was there anything else? Oh, so the big thing besides the hardware announcement that happened at the Xbox press event was the Cyberpunk 2077 show off where they showed some pre-rendered video. I don't think there was any gameplay. I can't remember for sure, but I'm pretty sure it was all pre-rendered. But the video ended with your guy getting thrown like down a garbage chute or whatever it was, and they're appearing next to him. You hear this voice, like that voice sounds familiar. He says something like, "Get up, dude. We got a city to save." It's
Keanu Reeves.
Keanu Reeves.
Yeah, they modeled it after him, right?
Yeah,
yeah.
It looks exactly like him,
Yeah,
except for he has a silver bionic arm,
Right.
which is awesome. And so Keanu Reeves is in Cyberpunk 2077, not as a playable character, but he is a character that you interact with through most of the game. I read it took 15 days for him to record all of his voiceover for that game, which is
That's a lot of voiceover.
He has the second highest number of voiced lines of any character in the game. So he's in it a lot. It's not just a little publicity stunt.
Has he become ascended to the point of where Elon Musk was of sainthood?
Pretty close.
As far
I
as
mean,
the internet's
I
concerned,
think
yes.
so.
Yeah,
he's been in
everyone-
awesome movies.
Everyone wants Keanu in everything right
Everything,
now.
yeah.
He's been in 3 movies in the last month. John Wick 3, Always Be My Maybe on
Toy
Netflix.
Story 4.
Toy Story 4, and they're all great movies.
Yeah.
Have you seen Toy Story 4 yet?
Not yet.
Oh, neither have I.
But yeah, so that was the announcement that got everyone freaking out collectively within the state, within the arena they were in, and then on the internet and everything. And I'll admit, it got me super excited. You know me. I've talked about Cyberpunk 2077 for like the last 3 years. I'm super excited for
Yes,
that
you
game.
have.
And this got me even more excited because Keanu Reeves is really cool.
You ever seen him run through his
breathtaking.
his combat training?
You're breathtaking.
Dude, yeah.
That's pretty cool stuff, right?
The training that
Yeah.
he does to look legitimate on
Yeah.
on movies like John Wick and
Yeah.
stuff. He's
pretty good,
Awesome.
actually.
well,
Wait,
and
what's that? Where's that on YouTube?
Yeah, there's a
Yeah.
video of him going through the obstacle course with live fire, and it is like he has an assault rifle, and then he pulls out a handgun. It's pretty.
yeah. I
Pretty
mean, he
intense.
looks legit,
Yeah.
like Navy SEAL style.
yeah, but the funny thing, well, not the funny thing, but the interesting thing with him is that's the kind of training that he went through before the Matrix too. He did a
Yeah.
bunch of
Yeah.
martial arts training.
Also, he
Yep,
quoted. Also, there was a throwback in John Wick 3 for the Matrix, which was really
What?
cool. Yeah, he goes,
Don't
"What are we gonna
spoil.
need? You haven't seen it?
No, I haven't seen it yet.
I
Don't
won't
Dude, I
spoil
haven't
it.
seen
Okay.
any of the John Wicks.
Oh, you need to watch them.
Are
Are
both.
they
They're
on
good.
the play?
2 of them are. 2 of them are.
Oh, I'm gonna probably watch one tonight then.
Yeah.
So let's see.
Dang, he's good.
I think that's pretty much it for the Microsoft. Oh, also they announced that they acquired Double Fine Studios, which is the studios that made games such as Psychonauts and Grim Fandango. And they also debuted a trailer for Psychonauts 2, so a lot of people were excited for that. And they showed off a very little bit of xCloud, which is the streaming Xbox platform, which they didn't show off what I thought they would. I thought they'd show off something like Stadia, where
Yeah,
it's,
is this in the same vein as Stadia?
yeah, I thought it'd be them streaming from a data center somewhere, but they mentioned that, but then they focused more on this is a very small announcement, but they focused more on the fact that you'll be able to stream from your Xbox to anywhere, any device, which Sony
Yeah,
already does.
Which maybe that's why they had to make it 4 times more powerful for
yeah,
the next one.
maybe. But yeah, so that's kind of cool to see that Microsoft is going to get it on that as well.
Do you think Cyberpunk's really going to be like the end all be all game?
I have no idea.
Or do you think it's just it's got too big of a hype train?
It's got a huge hype train going.
It's definitely got
Is it the
Hype.
biggest game hype
by
wise
far,
right now?
By far, yeah. So it's got a lot to live up to, and it will be interesting to see what happens. What I mean to say is, I know it will. I know it'll be the greatest game of all time.
Of course.
Did you pre-order it?
I haven't yet because I want it on PC. I wanted the collector's edition on PC, and they teased it for like a week and a half, and then they had it come out, and it was available in 3 stores for about 5 seconds. So I missed it. I'm going to try and get it if they have a second wave, but who knows. Let's see. We got... we talked about the AMD Navi stuff a little bit. They also announced, last time we talked, that AMD was showing off their 12-core CPU, which looked really good and boosted up to 4.6 gigahertz. And at E3, they showed off their 16-core.
I want this so bad.
The AMD 3950X is a 16-core CPU for their mainstream AM4 socket and uses
Sweet.
the X570 chipset. It will have PCI Express 4.0, just like it has all the other stuff that the 12 core they announced, but it's got 4 more cores.
And it's still at 105 watts TDP.
Yeah, still
Similar to the 3900X.
and it boosts out of the box. It boosts 100 megahertz higher, so it goes to 4.7.
It'll cost $750. Comes out in September.
Yep.
Which makes
Which is still way underpriced compared to like an
16
Intel.
Oh,
a 16
yeah.
core Intel chip is over $2,000.
Ooh.
it makes the decision so hard between the 12 core and the 16 core chip. It's ridiculous.
So it's 500 for the 12 core, 750 for the 16.
It's that thing I was talking about. It's that the
Yeah.
middle price.
Yep.
The middle price theory where there's like, just go with it's only $200 more for.
And AMD has promised that they're specially binning every single 3950 chip so that it performs at maximum levels, just like they're
Out of the
putting
box.
out of the box,
Oh.
just like they're putting in all their literature about it, so that nobody gets one and feels cheated.
I just wish they would release them at the same time because I don't want to wait till September. I want it now.
Yeah, so July 7th for the 12 core and September something or another for the 16 core.
And it's super cool because my motherboard, which is 2 generations old, will work with it.
Yeah.
And so I don't have to upgrade
Yeah.
my motherboard and go through all
mean,
that hassle.
Will you miss out on some of the features like PCI 4 and stuff like that with the
will.
older motherboard, right?
Yeah.
I will, but I don't have anything that takes advantage of that yet.
Right.
So yeah, that's really exciting stuff. It's awesome to see AMD shaking up the industry right now with their new CPUs. Their GPUs are poised to maybe make some noise in the mid-range section right now, and then of course providing both of the SoCs for the next gen consoles. They're having a good year. They're having a really
they're going to
good,
do great.
really good year.
When you say they make noise, what's the kind of noise they make? Ah!
Disruption.
It's more like
It's like no, it's NVIDIA going.
What?
It's less NVIDIA and more Intel.
Yeah.
NVIDIA is still like,
Who are these guys?
we have more powerful stuff than you guys.
Yeah, that's true.
But Intel's like, oh, crap.
Yeah.
Why?
They have stuff that's just as powerful and more powerful than ours now, and they're charging less for it. What are we going to do? So, yeah. Let's see. Let's take a little break from games, and we'll come back to this. Let's see. I guess we need some crypto.
Yes, it's back.
Why?
I'm back.
Are we going to put a time limit on this like we used to?
I told you. So the crypto minute was 1 minute, and I usually went over to 2. This is a crypto moment. It's going to be 3, and I'm probably going to go to 15. So it's fine. It's proportional.
Let's
Feels
maybe
like that's
set
not
a
proportional.
In
That's
3 minutes,
5.
ready, set, go.
Oh, dang it. Okay.
Go.
Well, there's only 2 stories.
Why
and
are you sweating?
Because I have a time limit.
Oh, yeah,
because
go ahead.
Jarron's a mean person. I just wasted 10 seconds saying
They're
that.
just making you waste your time.
All right. Well,
now.
so Bitcoin's on the way back up for recovery.
over
Now,
10K today?
Over 10K today. It's been over 10K for a week.
It was over 11 at
It
one
hit
point.
11.
Yeah, it was up to 18 at a different
So
point.
if you've watched Bitcoin over the years from 2009, whatever, up, it spikes, right, and then dives down, and then levels out, and then dives down some more, and people go because the first peak everybody jumps in, the drop people go, oh crap, I need to get my money, so they sell again. That causes another crash, and then it has support for the long-term hold people that are always going to hold Bitcoin, and it stays that way for a set amount of time. Then it starts to rise back up again. This last rise just happened to take almost the whole year of 2018.
Yeah.
The previous 2 sequences like this, including the one where it went up to 20K,
They've been a lot faster.
they've been a lot sooner. So we're at the point where it's starting to rise back up again with support and whatever. So a lot of people jump back in. Bitcoin kind of controls the price of a lot of other coins.
Pretty much all of them.
As far as like the price goes. So Ethereum's doing good. A bunch of other stuff's doing good. But one of the reasons why crypto's in the news again, why Bitcoin started rising up again, is because of something that Facebook did.
Facebook.
Yeah, I know. They are creating their own blockchain and their own coin on the Libra blockchain, and they're going to call this Calibra. It's going to be a payment system eventually
For what?
for
Like-
whatever you want on their
Like
marketplace.
Facebook Marketplace?
Yeah.
Interesting.
The SEC is freaking out.
oh, yeah.
Because that's a huge base. So, the U.S. government's kind of been tepid with Bitcoin and cryptocurrency in general. They're like, these people are basically wasting their money, but some people are making a lot of money, and we want that.
Mm-hmm.
And so they've started to regulate some of the exchanges and whatever. But now the SEC, some Democrat came out, or some I don't know if it's a Democrat. Anyway, a politician. Senator.
Most
Anyway.
likely a Democrat.
You
I don't know.
automatically assume those dying Democrats.
Anyway, yeah, they were like they basically requested that Facebook put a moratorium on their cryptocurrency until the SEC could like vet it and like police it and like regulate it. And I'm like, that flies in the face of cryptocurrency in general. But it is a
That
little
screams
different.
Democrat to you? That screams Republican to me.
No, I can't remember. I didn't say whether she's a Democrat or Republican.
So
I meant to say
now
senator.
it's a woman.
It is a woman. It's in the
okay.
link. It's in the link.
Oh, that's
Quit
why he
taking
said
up my valuable
That's why
time.
he said Democrat. Am I right, Fives?
how will this help Facebook?
Representative Maxine Waters asked Facebook to put a pause on cryptocurrency.
That just sounds like somebody who doesn't understand to be like, hey,
They're gonna make
Stop.
money. They're gonna make money.
stop it.
How will this help Facebook get more of your data?
Oh, dude, the first word in here is
because it's
Democratic
gonna-
representative.
Oh, never mind. You can't answer that question.
There you go.
Oh,
That's the timer.
that was 3
Cool.
minutes.
Can I go next about the software that I
No,
use?
All right.
I'm interested in this. Keep going.
So they're asking the SEC to investigate, kind of regulate it. It's weird because normally that would fly in the face of
crypto.
crypto,
everything.
but Facebook is making their own chain. It's like an entity though, creating their own blockchain. It's not going to be controlled by miners and stuff. And
yeah.
so it is kind of like, and it'll be used for transactions both nationally and internationally. So there's a big fear about money laundering, a bunch of stuff like that.
That falls under the umbrella of the FCC.
No.
SEC,
SCC.
Oh, okay.
Security and Exchanges Commission. So, but it's put a lot of hype into Bitcoin currently.
Yeah, that's why it's gone up significantly in the last
It was
couple
going
weeks.
up before that, though.
It was
But
on the
went up
rise.
very fast.
It jumped from like 8K to 10K pretty quick.
Yeah.
And then Ethereum's got another company. I think MetLife. I'm probably misquoting
the
that, but
insurance company?
yeah, they're gonna start using the Ethereum network to do an app for healthcare.
Interesting.
So like asset stuff for like life insurance and stuff. So it
People
can
are-
immediately be cut through the red tape
Yeah,
for
people
getting
are-
your assets for.
Companies are finally realizing that blockchain is more than just crypto buzz.
Yeah,
that
that's
it's
not
actually
just
a
some place to
viable
waste your money.
technology.
Yeah, it's not just some place to waste your money or buy a GPU and piss
Or
off
to get
your wife.
confused and mad at Thanksgiving when
Yeah.
nobody's explaining it right.
So and then the other thing is Ethereum's doing proof of stake soon.
They've been saying that for
yeah.
2 years.
I looked it up, and you have to stake 32 Ethereum.
That's a
lot.
That's a lot.
And the annual return they're saying for 260 or for 32
Ethereum.
is going to be 260 a year.
$260 a year.
on
That's-
returns, but it'll be
That's not
completely
good.
passive forever, essentially.
What does that mean
But
for the
you-
layperson?
But you have to. So when you go to proof of work is where we mine, we get rewards, right? Proof of stake is where there's just a bunch of servers, and you've staked your Ethereum. So 32, you mean basically you've locked it. You can't spend it, exchange it, trade it, anything. It's locked on the network, and then your computer stays online, and you guarantee that it will stay online to process those.
Can you give me a metaphor and explain it like I'm 5?
So can you pull your Ethereum out of that anytime you want?
I think you can if you stop staking.
If I have 5 muffins and I put them in the oven and I donate my oven.
Let me think. It's basically like centralizing the process. Instead of 50 million users all with their own little GPUs, it's going to proof of stake is gonna price out those people, a lot of those people, because they don't have 32 Ethereum to lock onto the network and become a dedicated staker.
So is that like
What's-
Braveheart when it comes to uniting?
What's Ethereum worth right now?
I think it's a little above 300, something like 311 maybe.
Let me find
We'll
out.
say 311.
Yeah.
So that means if you want to stake and you invest right now, you need to invest
Like
just shy of
$5,500.
$10,000.
Yeah, right, yep.
$9,952 if it's $311 per Ethereum. So you'd be investing 10 grand to get $260 a year.
That's a 2% return. That's a really bad return.
Bad.
So
wait, numbers guy. What's a good return margin?
More
like
than
7 to
2?
8,
Oh,
just off the top of my head.
right, and that really does depend on the price of Ethereum in general too, though. Like if Ethereum goes up to $1,000 and you bought it at 300, then you paid significantly less.
Right.
to
You,
get
you have more money in assets, but
Right.
do you get more than 260 a year?
I believe you would because you're making Ethereum.
Oh, you get paid in Ethereum,
You
not
get paid
in dollars.
you get paid in
Okay,
Ethereum.
okay.
So that was
Well, that
that
makes
was
a little
current.
more sense.
Yeah, that was current pricing, and that was as of like 2 months ago, beginning of
So
May.
it's one of those things where if you got in 32 Ethereum early,
Yeah.
back when it was cheap,
If you mined Ethereum and you got Ethereum when it was like
$10 a coin or something,
like totally worth it.
then yeah.
And 32 is the minimum you can stake.
You can stake more and
you
get
can
more
stake
money.
more and get more. But
Interesting.
anyway, proof of stake kind of throws it in the face of the miners who have really supported the network.
Right, because they're cut out
it
at that
failed. Like their whole thing to move to proof of stake and then the crypto winter, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's the only reason why Ethereum survived is because the miners stayed true and kept mining even though it wasn't quite profitable.
point. Right.
Anyway,
Interesting.
I didn't mean to go into that much, but Bitcoin's on the rise right now, and
all
right
right.
now is the FOMO jump. So this is the jump where it's just cheap enough still to buy Bitcoin,
Yeah.
but people believe that it's going to jump, and so this is what causes that huge spike in Bitcoin is the FOMO jump. So it's going up. People are like, I need to get in right now, otherwise, because it's going to go up to 20K again, and I'm going to make 10K off
Yeah.
this investment. So right now is what's considered the FOMO jump, and people are just all the wheeling and dealing is happening with people being like, have you ever heard of Bitcoin? It's in the news again like
Oh,
crazy.
Just like 2 years ago.
Mhm, yep. And so people are buying in
As we record right now, it is at $11,065 per coin.
Yep. And so anyway,
Huh.
are any of you guys still holding any coins? Jarron, you're
No,
out completely.
I'm completely
James,
out.
you dumped out completely.
No.
Do you
dude.
still have coins?
I think I'm up to 15 or 16 Ethereum.
Vaults.
No, I'm just kidding. I have a lot of Sia coin.
You have some Sia coin left.
Yeah.
I've recently been trying to upgrade and get my wallet up to snuff so I can get rid of it because I'm just done.
I need to. Can I buy your Sia coin?
Yeah, I'm not gonna. You can have it.
Really?
I mean,
Oh, I'm gonna load my thing up.
it's like 0.0003.
No, it's 0.3 cents per coin. Right?
Pan to
Yeah.
10 years in the future, and James is like a billionaire.
I hope so.
I wanted my Sia
I will
coin.
come knock on your door at that point.
I'll buy you a sports drink.
If you give me a McDonald's cheeseburger.
We'll call it even.
So I'm like I mind a lot of stuff. One of the ones that's really been impressing me and I think it's just because the volume I got is Raven.
Yeah.
That one's been really fun. All my other stuff is like Bitcoin, Ethereum. I have some of that. I'm still actively mining Ethereum.
So,
How many are you getting a month?
how much Ethereum have you got?
I get about a little over 0.65 a month.
Okay.
So
Jeez. Do you remember off of my one rig when I first
Yeah.
started, I was supposed to be pulling in 0.7
yeah,
by itself.
With 2 video cards.
and I've got 7.
Yeah, it's crazy how the difficulty's gone up. I'm still sitting on some Sia, some Raven coin, some a little bit of Bitcoin, very little, like
I have a 10th.
Yeah, I have a
I have
10th.
1/10 that
Exactly.
I'm like, ooh, I like that.
and I have what is that? XRP.
You're right. Did you still have Neo?
I still I don't think I ever had Neo.
Oh, maybe you didn't.
I had I got some XLM, some Stellar, or is that XLM?
I think that
No,
is.
so I have Stellar and Cardano. Those are the two I get.
Did you pull Stellar into your Exodus? Did you pull all
I
of
put
your?
everything that can be an Exodus wallet? I have an Exodus
Nice.
wallet.
Do you
right
like
now.
that? Looking at the portfolio and seeing
Yeah,
that.
it makes me feel cool.
Yeah. I know that it's a third party wallet and blah blah blah. You're gonna have everybody that hardcore miners be like, you should never do that.
Yeah.
But I really enjoy the look of the
And-
Exodus wallet.
and it's so convenient.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think that might be it. So yeah, I have. Oh, Tron. I have a bunch of Tron coins. Yeah. It's not worth very
Yeah.
much. I have 20,000 Sia.
20,000.
Yeah.
That's I have.
It's
seven,
like
I have
$70.
I have 7. I have 7,000. But yeah, so I'm holding. I found out. So I ran as a test once in my basement. Really screwed up my solar power because you're supposed to bank your credits all year
Right.
for solar.
And you used all yours.
I was running this app called MinerGate, which is a horrible when we first got into it, and I left it running on this laptop in my basement, and I just shut it and was whatever, and it mined about 0.25 Ethereum in about. I unplugged it after about 3 months, and I moved it to my office because I was like, oh, whoops. Yeah, so I really screwed up my solar budget because it burned all my power.
Man.
But so I have like 0.23 total of Monero,
Okay.
which is, it's doing well. It's
That
over
almost
100.
sounds like you're a cool guy trying to say money.
Monero.
I got some Monero.
Monero's different. There's a lot of stuff about Monero that's kind of dangerous because it's shielded transactions. So whenever there's a Bitcoin or a heist, Ethereum heist, they'll switch it to Monero.
Oh, really?
Because
Convert it.
and then filter it back out to Bitcoin.
Boy, we haven't gone down this rabbit hole.
Sorry.
in
It's
a long
It's been a while.
time.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Feels
Do you
kinda
remember
good.
why we put a limit on it?
I know. Sorry, guys. It's been building up for a year. I had to just.
Now you know how I feel anytime we say Beauregard. See, it just pops out. I can't
You
not.
save it up for 2 weeks and then you hear it.
It's like a
That
verbal.
only takes half a second, though.
Yeah, it's a verbal.
Don't compare times. We're talking about topics here. Anyway, that's all. That's all I have.
Very interesting. Thank
That's
you.
all.
Thank you, Owen.
Maybe go buy 20 or so graphics cards and mine some Ethereum.
Yeah, there you
That's
go.
my. That's
Don't
my
take
recommend-
financial advice from us. Please
Yeah.
do not.
James, I saw this in the news today too. Tell us about the Raspberry Pi 4.
Raspberry Pi 4.
that's
It's
what you
better
have.
than 3, but not as good as 5 that hasn't come out yet.
That's what you have.
The
Raspberry
end.
Pi 4.
Yep.
Aren't you going to talk about it at all?
I'm trying to get signed in because I want to see how many Sia coin that I have.
Also, you're not
Verify
very
later.
good at
You'll never get that to come up.
this link you sent.
Yeah. What about it?
It's not actually a link. It's just a string of
Have
characters.
you tried clicking on it, Tony?
Yeah, it's not a hyperlink.
Yeah. Oh,
I
this
just
isn't a hyperlink.
said.
Look at that.
You have to
Interesting.
hit
No,
enter afterwards.
There we go.
There we go. I just did it. You're
Okay.
welcome. So actually, if you go check out there, I wanted to see like what's the deal. Apparently, my thing is I collect Raspberry Pis and never do anything
Yeah,
with them.
yeah.
That's a cool hobby.
It's kind of fun. I have the
Yeah.
last 3 generations.
And what have you done with them?
They're in a box.
He just
neat.
said nothing.
You should open up a Raspberry Pi museum.
Every now and then. Well, what's
I
nice
thought
is
you were going to say a Raspberry Pi restaurant.
what's nice is they're
I
like
should have.
they're in random
Missed
boxes
opportunities.
around my office. So when I'm looking for a cord or something, you know how you shake the
Yeah,
box?
yeah,
It's like,
what is
oh.
that?
And then I open it up like, oh,
And then you have all these
Raspberry
dreams of
Pis.
what you'll do with it, and you're like, oh, I'm going to make this into an emulator or
Yeah.
home security system or And then you just put the box on because you got to go find that cord to go back to work, and then you leave
And then
it for
you
another
forget about them.
month or so.
So
Yeah,
I'm
I
pretty
do
sure that
all
I'm
the
going to
time.
order this. What's nice is they've upgraded a lot of the ports. That's
This is-
one of the main things.
Yeah,
is
this is
USB-C.
actually-
They have dual HDMI now.
It can almost be a desktop computer now. It has 4 gigs of RAM, has an upgraded
I mean,
processor.
technically, if you believe in yourself, it can be a desktop computer already.
It could always run Linux.
So they're selling 3 different versions of this one. One with 1 gig of RAM, one with 2, and one with 4.
Yeah.
And the most expensive one, that 4 gigger, $55, which is pretty dang affordable.
I don't
that
understand
is
why.
not bad.
I don't understand why they just don't put a SODIMM slot on it and let you put whatever you want in it. Like,
Here's the thing:
Because
is
nobody sells ARM chips.
oh, fine.
here's the thing: is
Fine, that's
you
a
could
very
just
good
make it
answer.
you could make it a web browser and give it to your grandparents,
Yeah.
right? If they break it, not a big deal. $40.
They sell this case you can buy with it too. An officially licensed Raspberry Pi case.
Oh, wow.
Is it the see-through one?
It'll do 4K 60
For 20
video,
minutes.
video playback.
That is a good idea actually for like old people.
Yeah,
Throw Linux on there, bam.
that's what I did for my mom.
So
Really?
one
Really?
thing
You did?
No.
Oh,
do,
yeah.
do I look
The-
like I know how to do?
I thought
Linux?
things had
I
changed.
barely know how to use Windows.
Okay.
you mentioned the dual HDMI.
Yeah, so you can have 2 screens.
It should be noted that it is dual mini HDMI.
Yeah, you got to
Oh,
get a
micro, excuse me.
Which is nice.
So we were both wrong
have to
for a
get
time?
So you have to get an adapter. That's all. But you can
or cable. You
technically-
can get a cable that has one end.
micro to regular
Yeah.
size.
Go to
yeah.
monoprice.com.
And those
they've got
are
everything.
$5 on Amazon, I think.
Yeah, they're pretty cheap. So
So I think it's great if somebody's
and
looking for like a
did
web
you say
browser.
USB 3.
Yep,
It's got
USB
USB
3.
3.
USB 3. Well, that's where I was going with that. Is all of the plug-in ports? They've all been upgraded.
Yeah.
And it charges via USB-C now.
Yep.
So yeah,
And it
spend that
uses-
extra $20, get that 4 gigs of RAM.
I would definitely agree
Yeah.
with that. And it uses the newer Cortex A72 ARM architecture, which A72 is that what the current? I think that's what the 845 was A72.
All
The
I'm
Qualcomm
saying is,
845.
I think it does a lot of really cool things, and by having it, you have a lot of potential. Just
I
make
could
sure that
be.
you follow through with that potential.
I could
That's
be.
all I want to talk about with that story.
Even has Wi-Fi and Bluetooth 5.
Comes
It's
built
built
in.
onto the
Built
board,
onto
right?
it, yeah.
So
What-
it's really expanded the possibilities of things that you can do without having to buy extra
Yeah.
stuff for
Yep.
it.
Yeah, a lot of the others you could do that, but you had to buy the parts yourself and
Yep.
like put them on.
You do need to
Or it would take up USB space.
do need to buy storage.
Yeah, micro SD card.
Yeah.
Which, gosh dang, some of those are super cheap right now.
I just saw like
Yeah.
a 256. I don't remember.
I think I saw a 256 the
for
other
$20
day.
on Slick Deals.
Whoa, I never saw
crazy.
20. I saw
Yeah.
30. That
I wonder if it's
20 is
still on there.
amazing.
There was a 200 gig for 20.
Oh no, yeah, that's the one that was. talking
So
That's,
yeah,
that's what I have in my Switch, and I paid $70 for that.
$75 down for a little PC,
Yeah. Pretty cool.
4 gigs of
about.
RAM.
Little portable PC.
Yeah, that's awesome.
All right, let's go back to a little bit of gaming from E3. So Bethesda had their keynote, and they didn't show off a whole lot new. They showed off a new game. There's from the company that made Dishonored. I can't remember the company's name off the top of my head, but it was more of a, if I remember, like a multiplayer style game. Let's see if I can find it on here.
Basically, we're sorry about Fallout. Here's Doom Eternal.
Well, Deathloop is what it's called. And
Arcane
yeah,
Studios.
Arcane Studios, Deathloop, and it's I must be thinking of something else because I don't think it's multiplayer.
Well, I'm just looking through their catalog of games. So they did Dishonored, Prey, a lot more Dishonored.
I really like
BioShock 2.
Arcane Studios. They've done some really, really good stuff. Now, speaking of Fallout 76, they did, they basically apologized for it, saying it didn't work out like they wanted it to, but they are doing a whole lot of updates to it this year again, and one of which is going to be NPCs. We're finally going to get NPCs.
The fans finally win.
Yes, to give us quest lines and a new main quest that we can follow across the wasteland. And it's finally going to be like traditional style Fallout that we all love and wanted from the beginning.
So a year and a half later, you finally get Fallout 76.
So we actually get our video game that we want?
Yep, a year and a half later. And these are free updates. You don't have to pay anything for these.
Well, good on them for working on it, making it
Yeah.
good.
Let's see.
But Doom Eternal comes out this
man.
fall.
Doom Eternal looks so good.
It will support ray tracing, which I'm excited about. I actually pre-ordered it I never pre-order video games except
Look at
for
you.
Uncharted 3 and now Doom Eternal.
Didn't you pre-order Star Wars, the Jedi Killer or whatever it's called?
Jedi Fallen Order,
Yeah,
which we
Fallen
will
Order.
talk about in a
I
bit.
feel like that.
Not
yeah.
yet, because I haven't seen a deal for it.
Oh,
If
okay.
the deal does come up, yes, I am going to pre-order it. That game looks awesome. Anyway, back to Doom Eternal. It looks so good with that meat hook thing.
Oh man,
Graphics look fun or amazing. The game looks fun.
Is that coming out on Switch at launch or after a time?
I think at launch.
I think it launches on
Yeah.
everything all at once.
Is that a game that I should play on my computer or should I wait till
Yes.
Switch?
Computer.
So I played Doom on Switch and I beat the whole thing and it was surprisingly playable and
Yeah.
I enjoyed it.
That's how I felt about
It's-
Wolfenstein 2.
It's going to be like
Yeah.
this. Basically, if you don't play it on anything else and you play it on Switch, you'll love it. But if you play it on something else and then try to play it on Switch, you're going to be like, this looks kind of muddy.
Well, if you're playing it on portable mode, I think it'll be
It's
okay.
Not as bad. You're
And
right.
if you put it on the TV, oh yeah, that is Jank Fest 2020.
Oh, you know him too?
Yeah.
So that I'm very excited for that. They also showed off more for Wolfenstein Youngblood, which is the sequel to it's kind of a pseudo sequel to Wolfenstein 2 because this takes place like 20 years in the after the second one.
So is it like a half game? Why is it so cheap?
It's basic. They didn't really say, but I'm not sure why it's so cheap. Other than the fact that maybe it was possibly planned as an expansion, and they just decided to flesh it out into its own thing.
Kind of
That'd be
like
neat.
the
Kinda like-
Uncharted.
Yeah, the Uncharted one where you play as the two girls.
Yeah.
But that's my own assumption. I don't know if that's true, but it's got the full treatment behind it of a whole new story, new characters, new guns, new setting. So I'm not entirely sure why they are, because it's only $30 I think at launch. So nice and cheap. Then they also showed off a new game called Ghostwire Tokyo, which is a game from Tango Gameworks, who also did the Evil Within and the Evil Within 2. And this one looks like it has to do with demonic infestation in Tokyo. So could be cool. I don't know. They didn't show off a whole lot about that. And that was Bethesda in a nutshell. A lot of stuff you'd already seen, and then a few new things to wet your whistle. Let's see. We got to talk about the Star Wars game.
Oh yeah.
It's funny that you
it's
think
looking good.
You guys think
It's
it looks
looking
good?
good.
Oh yeah.
It looks
Alright.
so good.
Nah.
It looks like they've really nailed the combat. The graphics, they look passable to me.
See, that's what kills
I
it
think
for
they
me.
look above average.
Yeah,
I think they
which
look
is
good.
passable for now.
Well, okay, whatever.
Like, there's so many other games that looked better to me that were announced this year, like Control, Doom Eternal.
Oh, and we're going to talk about Control for a minute when we get there because that game looks awesome.
Yeah, it does. But you play. Well, not many details. More details were announced. They just showed more of it. You play as this Jedi Padawan called Cal Kestis. It's a total Star Wars name right there.
Cal Kestis, who stars in Shameless, who's also the Joker from
Yeah, his name's Cameron Monaghan.
Gotham.
Yeah. So it's set between Star Wars Episode 3 and Episode 4 in that period that's not really well known. But it's made by Stig Asmussen, who did God of War 3 back on the PlayStation in the aughts, 2000 aughts.
It doesn't do anything for me. I didn't play any of those.
Not
God of
Yeah,
Wars.
neither did
No,
I.
no,
But
no.
he started working on it in 2014. That's when he was hired at
Holy
Respawn.
cow.
Yeah, and according to Ars Technica, the reason that they're using Unreal Engine 4, which, by the way, is completely weird under EA, because EA has mandated that everyone use Frostbite.
Yeah. And
Except
Frostbite, it turns out how much we used to love it and sing its praises. If you're not DICE, Frostbite's a turd.
Yeah, but if you are DICE, Frostbite's great.
Exactly.
But anyway, apparently Respawn doesn't need to use Frostbite because they're using Source for Titanfall and Apex Legends, and they're using Unreal Engine 4 for this.
Yeah.
So they're the special child, apparently.
Well, you know what? If you just make good games, you get to do a
Yeah.
little bit. You get a little more freedom.
But they started using Unreal Engine 4 because when he was hired on, there was no one on his team, and Unreal Engine 4 is easy for people who don't have developers.
Oh.
And so they developed this whole new team under Respawn, under this Asmussen guy. And they got a lot of veterans from different franchises, and they built this game from scratch. And initially, Lucasfilm didn't want them to have a game about Jedi. And so they really had to convince Lucasfilm to allow them to have this game be about a Jedi.
Lucasfilm, a.k.a. Disney.
Yeah.
They had to convince Disney to let them do a game about a Jedi.
Because they were really protective. Like, oh, we don't want to ruin anything here with any Jedi story. So don't touch the Jedi. But they came out with a good story, I guess, and convinced Disney to let them use Jedi. And now it's looking like a cool game. And one thing about this, like, if you have a lightsaber, you can pretty much destroy anything, right? And so it makes it hard to have good gameplay.
Yeah, because you become Superman.
Yeah,
basically
it becomes too easy.
unstoppable.
So it's interesting to hear how they're getting around that. And from everyone who's played the demo, it's sounding like it really is some good gameplay. So I'm
Nice.
excited for it.
Oh crap! What was
Can
I
you
gonna
just
say about
imagine
that?
being that like small independent studio and then getting like the blessing of Disney?
the Star Wars?
It's like they go
license?
home on a weekend and then they come back on a Monday and they completely rebuilt their studio. And it's like, wow,
Well, they're not independent.
really
They-
knocked down some walls in here. And
Has
opened-
Disney
Well,
been in
let's-
here?
let's
They
say
are
that-
owned by EA.
They are, but Respawn Studio in 2014, I believe, only had about 60 employees.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It was very small at the time.
Did you say how many they have now?
They have a lot more now because they've had more games to work on.
Oh, neat.
So the game will kind of have a Metroid feel because you have to unlock certain items to progress to another area, and you can always go back to previous areas
With the new items.
with the new items. So it sounds like a pretty cool game, and it's really the first good single player game since I think the early 2000s
Is
for
the-
Star Wars.
Is the Metroid feel they almost got done with the game and then they brought it to the people and then they said, oh, we don't want you to do this anymore. So here, you go away.
What?
He's talking about Metroid 4
Yeah.
and how it
'cause
got
they
taken
rid of it.
away from the other
yeah.
studio and put back on Retro Studio.
Yeah.
Did you see who's going to play it looks like a key role in that game besides Cameron Monaghan's character?
Oh yeah, what's his name from Rogue One and Clone Wars?
Yeah.
I can't remember his name suddenly.
The actor's Forrest Whitaker.
Forrest Whitaker, yeah.
What was his name and his character's name though?
Oh, you're talking about
Saw Gerrera.
Yeah, Saul Guerrera. Yeah, I saw that and I was like, is that Saul Guerrera? Oh, that is Saul Guerrera.
Is he pretty big in Rebels?
I don't know. I didn't watch Rebels.
Or
Yeah, in
Clone
Star
Wars?
Wars Rebels, he's a part of that.
Was he in there?
Does
I
it talk
totally
about why he
forgot.
needs like the mask to breathe?
No.
Rats.
But that's cool. I like that it looks like they're actually making it as like very easily seen as part of the Star Wars canon.
Right.
Whereas most Star Wars games in the past have always just been kind of offshoots, almost like this is takes place on the other side of the galaxy right
Oh yeah,
now.
Kyle Katarn definitely was never canon.
Exactly. Or
Which is
like
too bad.
Or like how they did Knights of the Old Republic was thousands of years before the regular Star Wars story, stuff like that.
Have they done any references to Kyle Katarn in any of the? Sure,
Chris
in any
Kattan?
if anything, have they ever had any reference to him?
Just in books.
No.
He wasn't he in the books too?
Oh, I don't know. There's so many books.
Yeah, there's
it's possible they referenced
ton of
him.
books.
But the story of Jedi Knight, Dark Forces 2 was so absurd that there's no way he could ever be canon.
I felt that way about Star Wars: The Force Unleashed too.
Oh yeah, totally.
Starkiller was god level power.
Yeah, he brought down a whole Star Destroyer.
Yeah, he pulls
from
a
the
Star
planet.
Destroyer down out of orbit with the Force, and
He's got to have a
smashes it.
lot of midichlorians.
That's the thing. So
I loved it
anyway.
at the time though.
Oh yeah, I super enjoyed The Force Unleashed. Let's see, we got also Control we mentioned earlier, and that's the new game from Remedy Studios, the studio that brought you Alan Wake and more recently Quantum Break.
That game looks cool.
And it does look really good.
Yeah.
It looks like a mix between like the end of Half-Life 2 when you get the gravity gun and Quantum Break.
And
Yeah.
you don't get the gravity gun at the end of Half-Life 2.
Yeah, you do.
No.
Oh, is it the
you
end
get
of 1?
You get it right before Ravenholm.
It's like halfway through the game.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. So yeah, halfway through, because you play a character who has psychic powers, and not only are we talking like some telekinesis and stuff, but it looks like there's some like reality warping.
kinda like the
abilities.
Force.
Yeah, very similar, but like to a higher degree as far as warping reality and stuff. And then there's also going to be good gunplay, I would assume, because that's something that Remedy's always done pretty well. They were also the company that did the first 2 Max Payne games.
Yeah, and from what I've seen in that Digital Foundry video. It looks like they're cutting back on the cinematics that were pretty big in Quantum Break.
Yeah, that's the thing. Quantum Break, in my opinion, was a really, really good game, but it was half watching a movie. At least half, it felt like. But I liked the movie itself. So, or the thingy. What's that crackling noise? Oh, it's gone. Okay. So anyway,
and the thing I'm excited about in that game, they're pulling some software trickery to enable full-on ray tracing for everything. It sounds like they're definitely doing reflections. They're doing everything, shadows and global illumination.
I thought it was only reflections and shadows.
No, they're doing some
global illumination
stuff too.
Because I remember also watching that DF video about it, Digital Foundry, and they're definitely doing some stuff different than all the other companies that have used the ray tracing.
I mean, they're not doing full-on like global illumination, full-on one ray per pixel, but they're doing some software tricks to mimic it and to allow some semblance of ray traced.
And the footage they've shown is gorgeous.
Yeah, it looks good.
Man,
I want to get that game.
But I'm honestly, like, as good as the graphics look and everything, I'm more excited for the gameplay and the story, because I've always liked Remedy's weird kind of stories that they do. Like Alan Wake, man, that game was out there. It was weird. And Quantum Break was way cool story-wise. It's a time travel story, and it was a lot of fun. So I'm excited for that game. I think it looks good. Let's see. Why does it say I got a new PC?
Because I did.
Oh, that's not a PC.
That's a
That's a MacBook.
It's a personal computer.
Laptop.
No, that does. Let me tell you why that cannot be.
This
a
is
PC.
a computer,
Because you
and
can't
it's
call it-
personal to me.
Let me
You
tell
can't
you.
have
Let me
that.
tell you
If
why.
you have
You
to
can't
yell
have
at
that.
anybody to reason it out, you're most likely wrong.
But you can't buy that and say that you're part of the PC master race.
Nope. And let me tell you why you're wrong for sure. Apple's entire advertising campaign in the early 2000s, where they would say, "Hi,
are not
I'm
a
a
PC."
Mac.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm a PC."
Okay.
They differentiated themselves.
You remember
right
those
there.
clever commercials where they showed like a special needs person and then Mac?
Oh, Owen,
Sorry.
Tony. Okay, now I hear you. Maybe
And
we
you see
can
me.
find a better, more friendly way of assessing.
No,
you're wrong.
I got a new personal computer, and it happens to be a MacBook.
It's a MacBook.
Let me just fix that in the notes. I got a new Mac.
Yeah,
Mac,
change that from PC to MacBook Pro
MacBook.
I got the new MacBook Pro 15-inch.
or laptop.
30-second review because it's been out. It's the new 8-core version. Oh, it's great. And I might have keyboard problems in the future, but who cares?
You probably will.
Apple tells me that it's okay.
Have you
so
used the bar
I
yet?
tend to believe them. Oh, no.
you'll never-
The bar's completely worthless.
You'll never use it. Anyway, go ahead.
I did see that
It
that
is
Apple
fast, though.
did
So
lock down a
fast.
patent for variable heights on their keyboard for the next model. Do you see that?
Variable
No.
heights.
I
Yeah,
don't
so it
believe
can
it.
raise up and come down. Who is that?
I think it was my phone. I got it.
Yeah, interesting.
They say it's fixed, huh?
Yeah. No, I use it in a dock at work. So I use a normal manual.
They've
or
said it's
a-
been fixed for 3 generations.
And they'll just replace it if it's
No,
not.
2, because
Oh.
they didn't know it was broken the first time.
Oh, right. Too.
They denied it the first time.
And the second time.
I'm always so hard on
And
Apple.
it's like,
I'm not
Apple.
crazy. You're crazy.
yeah, they just gaslighted everybody. They're like, no, it's not broken.
It's a work computer. There's no way I would have paid this amount of money if it were a personal. If I
Yeah.
bought it out of my
Are
personal
you,
funds.
are you allowed to share how much one of those is?
It's like $3,500.
Yes,
It's
I can tell you.
ridiculous.
Crazy
I buy
expensive.
quite a few of these for work, and they are
So he paid
expensive.
$3,500 for this, and it's got a monster 8-core CPU, 32 gigs of RAM, and the same graphics card that I found in a computer that cost $700.
What's the term? The RX 480?
No, the
580?
RX 560X.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
It's a bummer, but I really rolled this around in my brain a lot because I wanted a 20 series video card in my work laptop, and then
Did you almost go actual PC laptop?
I did, and
Ooh.
just
What's a
ultimately I decided I can't justify getting a 20 series GPU in a work laptop that I will never game on.
So he decided to get something that has the same GPU capabilities as his phone.
Couldn't risk the Apple fanboy status.
Oh,
He couldn't risk
That hurts.
he couldn't risk the Apple fanboy status either. Like Like, what would we say about him if he
Yeah.
had all this other Apple Eco
I
and
know.
then
And no
a PC laptop? We would know.
But your desktop is an Apple.
Yeah, he just uses
no,
the game
no.
though, and he doesn't talk about it to anybody. He just
No, I love my gaming PC with
It's just
a
a game-
fiery passion.
What are you
You see,
talking about? Ray
he just-
tracing is on his business
But
card.
you just see he calls it he just calls it my gaming PC. He doesn't say it's the computer I work on. It's my computer. He says my gaming PC.
Let's put it this way: if my house were burning down and I had a choice between a MacBook Pro that I bought with my own money or my gaming PC, I would choose my gaming PC.
Well said. You earned a few points back.
All right.
But I will say,
because you like Windows.
I do like Windows.
Okay.
I like Mac OS and I like Windows.
that 8-core CPU is a beastly beast.
Yeah,
Pretty nice.
It's so fast.
Let's see. So, speaking of Apple, I have a review to do for my new Powerbeats Pros.
Oh yeah, how are those?
Ooh.
See, this is
All I see is comparisons against those and the jobbers. Like people would compare those Powerbeats.
That's straight
because
from
they're
Dr. Dre.
because they're super comparable.
Yeah.
So I have those right here. The Jabra 65
65T.
T actives.
Yeah.
And I've used both extensively for the last few weeks. And let me tell you, you honestly can't go wrong with either one. They're both fantastic fully wireless Bluetooth headphones. Now, where I will say that the Powerbeats Pro come out on top in is sound quality. These sound really, really good. They do so when you use them, you will need to go into the EQ on your phone and up the treble a little bit.
Did you do the Jabra app on your phone for their EQ?
Yeah.
Because they have like a special EQ settings in there.
Right,
in their,
for the Jabra.
they got their own app.
For the Powerbeats Pros, I just went into the main EQ settings on my phone.
Did they have an app as well, or is it just?
Not for Android.
Okay.
I don't know how tweakable is it on like Apple.
They don't have an app.
I didn't think they did either
No.
because I use it with my iPad Pro and I haven't noticed anything like that pop up other than just telling me the main difference between using it on my iPad Pro and using it on my Android phone has basically been on the iPad Pro I can see a battery indicator to tell me how much battery is left in the charging case and how much is in the headphones themselves.
So if your iPad Pro isn't around, does it remember the Android connection?
Yep, go straight to the Android connection.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's cool.
And even I don't know if this is just me making stuff up or whatever, but I use them more on my phone. And if I have my phone and my iPad out and I put them in my ear, it goes to the phone automatically.
That's cool.
Like it knows that I use it more on my phone.
Nice.
So that's pretty cool. Yeah. So I will.
Oh, that is really nice. I just realized that like my headphones do that, but it's to my wife's phone, so I always tune in listening to like Property Brothers.
It's a good show, I guess.
I'm not into them like she is.
No. So yeah, I gotta say, I got him a little cheaper through Rob, who works at Apple. He hooked me up with the friends and family discount.
Hey, he was on this podcast.
Yes, he was.
Yes.
I got him for $220 something, and normally they go for $250, so I got like 10% off. So the Jabras go for usually regular price I think is $180. You can usually find them on sale for about $150.
I always wait for the deal when I lose them and have to buy them again.
So they are cheaper than the Powerbeats Pros, but they, in my opinion, they don't sound as good. The bass on these Powerbeats Pros is honestly it blew me away a little bit. Like they don't sound as good obviously as my Odysseys, my $400 gaming headset that uses the planar magnetic. But man, as far as in-ear stuff goes, I've never had anything sound as good as this. So I give it 9 out of 10. The only thing that I'd probably knock it on is
Price?
the price. Yep. If they were more like $200, they'd basically be perfect. So yeah, I use them all the time now. I freaking love them. So great job, Apple.
Do you prefer those over the Jabras at this point?
I do.
Right.
Yep. Because they. The one thing the Jabras do have over these though is the Jabra has the ambient noise.
The pass through.
Noise pass through.
Yeah.
These do not, and they do a pretty good seal in the ear canal. The Powerbeats Pro, so it does block out external noise.
So don't jog in train yards or anything like that.
Yeah. So if you're going to be jogging in a busy place or something where you might need to watch out for ambient noise, probably not the best, but you can always just pull them out a little bit. They don't sound as good when you pull them out a little bit, but
And they're over the ear, right? So they don't fall out at all.
yeah. So they have this over.
They have a hook.
They have a
Yeah.
hook, and I was afraid that it was going to interfere with my glasses, but no.
Does it
not-
hurt at
not
all?
even
Does
a little
it-
bit. Nope. I've worn them for hours.
That's one thing I really like about the jobbers is that because they're just in ear, that I don't feel them.
yeah. Same idea.
Are you really seeing the 9 hours of battery life?
I can't tell you that yes or no because I've never used them for 9 hours straight.
I mean, does the battery depletion seem to match up with that?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay.
The one thing I am not sure on is if the case stops the charging if they're full. You know what I mean? Like if the headphones are full, does the case stop charging the headphones?
Or does it continuously pump?
continuously decrease the battery?
Jobbers do that.
Jobbers stop?
No. Like if you leave your jobbers unplugged, like I haven't used mine. I've got them with me now, but I haven't used mine for about a week. And when I set them on the shelf, the charging light was green.
And now it's red.
And now it's yellow.
Yellow,
I mean,
okay.
So it's
All I
really
know-
slow drain, but
All I know is the AirPods, they will last forever if I don't use them
Yeah.
in the
Got it.
charging case.
And that's what it seems like is I can not use these for 5 days or so, and there's still plenty of battery. The headphones themselves are at 100%, and the case would be, I feel like a few percentages lower, like probably 10% lower than it was when I put it down. So, but the fact that you get 9 hours plus another 2.5 charges in the case, I mean,
we'll have to see how they hold up to
Tons.
my Pamu slide that I'm I've
Yeah, that you
coming.
got.
I mean, we're gonna have to see.
I'm very interested in
Yeah.
that because they're promising a lot for a little again, and maybe they'll deliver.
Yeah.
Probably not.
Hey, Owen, can we describe how this interaction went down when I first told you about the Pamu slides?
Yeah, go for it because I want to hear your point of view.
So I told Owen about it. I'm like, you should get this. He's like, never again.
Yeah.
And then I said, you should get this. And he's like, okay, and he got it.
Yeah. Hey, that was
Well,
as easy as it was.
It was because you said, "Hey, it's your Thrifty-50 this month. You should use that."
Yeah.
Owen, okay.
Oh, wait, I'm not paying for these. No, so the first time you said you should get these, and I said never again. And then I went and looked them up, and they look pretty. I mean, they're making
they
some
do.
bold claims.
They look great.
I mean, they're making. Let
They
me
made
just
bold claims last time.
let me
too.
rephrase that. They're making some bold claims in English with really bad grammar. So
Now, I'm
normally
not-
when I receive an email that way, I'm suspicious.
That's-
But when it's a Thrifty-50, I just went for it.
It's classic Pamu.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not saying that it's how it is now. I'm referring to Owen back in high school. Were these the kind of people that you would date back in high school? She's pretty, but
Dude, you're assuming way too much. Let's just roll that back to people I dated in high school, which was 0.
oh, wow.
0.
So you were dating yourself.
Yeah, I was. Yep, and video games
Oh,
back then. One video game, Ultima Online, basically my whole high
Oh,
school
that's
career.
right. I
Yeah.
forgot about that.
Hours and hours of my life gone forever.
You've told us about your Ultima problem.
And then I revisited later in life when I found out they had a free server and almost ruined my marriage. And then and now I just secretly get
do
on
you
there
still
once in a
all your
while.
stuff?
Good times.
Oh yeah,
Really?
oh yeah,
Can you, if I were to log on, were you to get on with me
yeah,
and show me around?
yeah.
I'm gonna get you back into it like you did RimWorld.
It won't work.
Oh,
It won't work.
okay.
Yeah, I have a wife that constantly checks on that.
For real?
Not really.
Oh, okay.
No.
All
She's
right,
totally
Owen,
cool.
tell us about the cheese grater
Oh, so
because the new Mac Pros.
they look like a cheese grater. Everybody's kind of mocking the cheese grater look. So some very enterprising engineer went and 3D printed a small piece of the front of a MacBook Pro. He wanted to make it look like he cut out a Mac Pro, not
Yeah.
MacBook Pro. And so he went and machined it, and I was like, "Oh!" So the article is really interesting, but the header is, will the Mac Pro actually grate cheese? And this enterprising engineer, he went through all the steps, and man, the first 5 minutes of a 11-minute video are just him being like, "And here's where I did the bore, and then you see where I changed it, and here's how I machined it." So it was like
Sounds like an engineer.
it was, yeah. Oh, it's bad. It was rough. It wasn't one of those great trendy, YouTube videos that I
One that
wanted.
just moves
it
along
Did, yeah,
at a
it did
quick
give it to
pace
me. No. So I actually, in my link, I actually linked to the part where he finally finished it.
The cheese is grating.
And and he's like, yeah. So he goes, it doesn't really work very well. And he's like, so I tried twisting it, and it just made a cheese ball. He's like, but it's still delicious. Anyway, so basically,
still cheese.
so basically, the Mac Pro face will not grade cheese.
Good to know.
Well, it's better
not
than
officially.
I mean, at least we know.
it's
But
better
if
than
you-
nothing.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. Like if it was end of days, apocalyptic, and
I really need to grate
they're like, how am I gonna do this?
Well, there's a Mac Pro over there. I
we could just do a Walmart and probably get one. But if like if the Walmart was infested with zombies and like your in-laws had like
tell you
a Mac Pro and you knew it was there and you could just have to kill your
Yeah,
in-laws, which is kind of
okay.
a plus, and then take the Mac Pro face to grate cheese, I think that's winning. I
That
mean,
would work.
Anyway,
It's better than the zombie-infested Walmart,
which
where you can,
is going to happen.
where you can find a real
The-
cheese grater.
And the worst zombies are going to be at Walmart. The worst.
well, yeah, because they're the people that were
They're the
shopping
worst.
there
Oh.
when the zombie
I
apocalypse.
like to see the manager.
They're going to be the hungriest zombies, if you know what I mean.
I say that, but I shop at Walmart.
I
I
do
should
too.
accept my
I will be
coupon.
one of those people. Likely, I think I'm assuming more that I'm not going to be a zombie. I will literally be a zombie.
You'd be one of the first ones.
Yeah, I should. I can't run. I'm not super healthy.
My
so,
pajamas are not revealing.
Yeah. In fact, it'd probably be an upgrade with my my back and like all the aches and pains I
You'll
have.
feel better
Yeah,
'cause
I
you're
probably
dead.
feel better. So
What do you mean all the jazzies are in use?
I could just see you getting bit.
Yeah.
And then you fall down and you get back up and you're like, oh, I feel great.
This is great. I'm kind of yeah. I'm just like kind of hungry. I mean, I could eat. But
I could eat, but I feel
Well, I
I
feel
haven't felt
great.
this good in
honey,
decades.
honey, where are you? Yeah, I could. I'll
I feel like getting out and shuffling.
Mm-hmm.
All right, James, you
Yeah.
have a review on here. What
do.
are you going to review?
I am going to review a program that I used not too long ago, just this weekend. So I was kind of in the market because I had a lot of photos getting thrown at me, and I was looking for a program where it would scan photos, not just by names, but also by contents in the photo. So I found a program called Duplicate Cleaner, and you can find it at duplicatecleaner.com.
So instead of just looking at like the metadata, it actually looks at the photo.
Yeah, it
I mean,
actually
it's got to.
scans
So I
the
mean,
photo.
it's got to go down to the binary.
I would assume that it's pixel by pixel, but I
Yeah,
don't know.
pixel by pixel has to be. We'll
Oh,
probably-
man.
'Cause let's put it this way:
Ugly
it takes
stick.
a long what?
The app looks so
Oh,
ugly.
yeah,
it's
it's
definitely from the 2000s.
It does.
Yeah.
But that being said,
sure.
it takes for a long time to scan, but it's super accurate. When you can set the percentage of
Accuracy.
sameness.
Yeah. Right.
And I usually keep it at around 95, which is where they.
So how long does it take to scan like 10 photos?
10 photos. It's quick. I'm talking more in like the 16 gigs would probably take about a half hour.
That's not terrible.
No, it's not too bad.
I mean, it would take you
beats
at
manually
least that
doing it.
long to do it manually.
yeah, the downside. Well, I guess downside or upside, depending on how you look at it, is it only does audio and photos right now. It doesn't do video. Mm-hmm. So, whatever.
So what do you give it?
For what it did, I give it a perfect 10 out of 10. That being
Save
said,
time.
yeah, I saved a lot of time. It
you
freed up
give-
a lot of space.
You give it a 10 out of 10. How much does it cost though?
It was. Oh, that's a good question. I didn't actually pay for it. Something else did.
I would never install that thing on my computer. It's so ugly.
$30.
Oh, $30?
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, the other nice
that's
thing
a-
too is you
like a
can
10 to
select
me.
your parameters. So like I usually do smallest file size is the first one to get deleted, and then I go with newest, which means that it's just a copy of the old. So
Do you have any false positives? You wouldn't know.
No.
You just trusted it and deleted
no,
it.
I scroll through every
Oh,
time regardless.
nice.
I don't trust programs like that, especially when it comes to photos.
It's stuff that you can never get back, right?
Exactly. And the nice thing too is it really scans those photos, because there's been times where I take a time lapse that it's set to like a half a second and it notices the difference and it doesn't delete it.
That is cool.
Yeah, it's definitely doing a size compare.
That's your first 10 out of 10.
Yeah, it's fantastic, especially the other night when I'm
Wait,
grabbing a boatload of photos, everything that I can off of Facebook, and then I'm having 10 or 15 people like simultaneously email me photos and stuff.
Right.
And,
wait. Did
and so
we
I need
ask
get
him
rid
to
of the
rate
duplicates.
his kid yet?
Oh,
No.
she's a 10 out of 10. She's
Okay,
better
so
than
that's
me.
his first 10 out of 10.
Second 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
See, that's what a father should say.
Yeah, shut up. I know. Mine were like, what did I say at first?
8.
Eight.
Yeah, they're 10. They've always been 10. That's what I'm standing by.
I've never had something.
We're old enough now that I can just, those can be deleted. We can go back and get rid of
I've
those.
never had something barf down my back so much that it literally goes down into my butt crack.
And said thank
have
you.
me pull it away and sneeze the rest of it in my face.
I love it.
But that being said,
And then say,
there are a
"Oh."
couple of programs, because I'm surrounded by tech guys right now. There's a couple of programs that I actually want to ask you guys about.
Okay.
So the first and foremost, what I'm looking for is, so usually I'm pulling a bunch of different media from a bunch of different places, and I need to transfer it onto like a drive or something. Is there a program that I can say, I want to pull all of this stuff from these locations and I want to put it here, and it like is like a docking bay, or like a storage place as like a facilitator. So that way I'm not trying to upload from 3 different locations at once into one place, but it like prioritizes it and basically funnels it down one straw hole. Does that make sense? What I'm trying to say?
I'm not aware of a program that
Like
does
you're trying to
basically
you're trying to download it from some external source.
So like, okay, let's say like I have like my work computer,
Yeah.
even, right? Even if it's, so I'm dealing with like hundreds of gigabytes of stuff from multiple folders on my computer, and I want to put it on like a hard drive, right?
Yeah.
And so like every time I click and drag, it opens up another transfer thing, and every time I bring another transfer thing in, it slows down the transfer speed of something else.
evens out the transfer speed.
Yeah. Is there a way that I can, because I feel like I understand like it equals out in the end, but is there a place that I could basically say like these are the files that I want to transfer and bring it into like basically
You need to job it out. So you need to do
readying.
jobs. You need to do
it sounds like
jobs,
you'd
right?
have
Where
like
you want to prioritize jobs. So you can say, okay,
a job queue.
Yeah.
job queue.
So at the end of the day, like if I go home and I come back, I can see that it transferred successfully.
Yeah.
I've never had to do anything like that, so I'm no
FTP
help
does
there.
that, but that's more for over the
FTP's
network.
over the network,
Yeah.
not over hard drives.
Okay, listeners, if you guys know of a program like that, hit me up, JDD Jensen at Twitter, and I will give you guys something.
Crisp high five.
No, actually, I've been looking for a place to offload my first Switch. So
that's right.
the other question that I had was if I'm trying to retrieve stuff that was deleted off of a micro SD, normal SD, or an Android phone,
Yeah.
what programs did you guys say?
I've used PhotoRec.
Photo REC.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Pretty
basically
sure
what
that's
he's saying
what
is
it's
that they erased an SD card. They formatted it, right? In Windows.
I don't even know if they formatted
Whether
it.
it was formatted or they highlighted everything and deleted it, the card
So-
shows as empty now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the way the hard drive works is there's a database. They call it the header and the footer. And when you format or delete stuff, it just deletes those lines in the database at each end of the drive.
So
right?
the header and the footer are like bookends.
They're databases. They say what's on the drive, right? So the computer can read from either end of the
cool.
device, right? Anyway, so when you delete a file, it just deletes the line out of the database. It doesn't actually go out to the drive and delete the file, like right over it. So you can actually use a program that will literally read the ones and zeros of the drive and say, this is the stuff that's all still on there. Now, if you deleted something and you saved something back on that drive, it's a good
probably
chance
gone.
that you're going to have it over. It's going to overwrite
Yeah.
what's currently there. Anyway.
So that being said, basically when you delete something, all it does is it goes through the hard drive and says, "Hey, this is empty now."
Yeah, right over this
without
data.
actually writing over
Right
it.
over the
Yeah.
space. Which is why in the
So-
InfoSec, like the security's like deleting stuff, you'll say, well, I formatted, I deleted it. Like even if you reformat a computer, reinstall Mac OS or something, like I reinstalled Mac OS before I sold my computer.
So there's a way to get around that with Mac has it built in, and I think Windows does too now, but basically it's called a DoD wipe.
Yep.
Which stands for Department of Defense, and it goes through between 3 and 7 times on every sector on the hard drive
And writes ones and zeros.
writes ones and
That'll
zeros.
take forever.
It does take a long time. Like if you do a 1 terabyte drive, it usually takes like 6 hours.
So there's a bunch of different
or-
types
or
of
around
passes.
there. Yeah.
So DoD is one of the most stringent. I'm lazy and I'll use the one pass ones, right?
Yeah.
So instead of doing every block, it just does one pass and it writes ones over it, and it's
It's not as thorough.
not as thorough, but it still is. I mean,
This is I know that the listener can't see it, but this is the photo rec. It's
cool.
it's by a company called EASUS, or I don't know how it's pronounced, but EASEUS.
that's almost like they messed up my last name.
Yeah.
Anyway.
And so yeah, there's that one. You can try it for free, and then what it does is they kind of get you. It's a good program, and I think there used to be
It probably shows you like a preview of what.
yeah,
pulls
what,
out and
what
says,
it
"We
does
found
is
files."
it finds the files, and then if you want to get the files, you pay the money to unlock.
so
it.
it's
is
no
it-
no part of it's free.
There used to be, I don't know if this is the same way, but there used to be another program that did that. In order to find those files, it actually has to go and find them and get them. So if you would go look in the Windows temp folder or the application temp folder, like the roaming temp,
Yeah,
you
sometimes
would
you can
see
find
them
them
in,
there.
the files would be in there sitting. And as long as you kept the program open, you could go grab them.
Now, my other question too is if she just has like an Android phone, like an old one, or I have a broken screen on an iPhone, is there any program that's out there that basically forces everything off of the phone?
You can get a SIM card cloner. Like you,
Yeah, there's a company called Celebrite that you can buy devices from them. I used to use it when I was selling cell phones back in the early aughts when I was in college.
It'll clone the phone.
It basically just clones the memory on the phone
But you have to have another device
to put it on. Yeah, or sometimes, at least I think you can just throw a
I wonder if it would make
micro
like
SD card into the device, the Celebrite device. But
That'd be interesting.
Celebrite's pretty cool. I can't remember how much the device costs. It's not cheap. I mean, it's at the least it's several $100s.
That's not worth it.
Yeah. So
Yeah, I was just looking for like a computer program or something that you plug in your phone, you maybe put it on like developer settings, and then it forces everything off the phone.
There's some stuff like that you can pull it and control your phone. So if like the screen's broken, you can get some of those phone controlling apps that will.
Oh, that's a good idea. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah. So there's other ways around it too, but I was just thinking of the straight like industry standard is Celebrite.
Like, is there any screen on it at all? Can you see anything? Because if you could get like if you could get AirDroid to install on it, then you just run AirDroid and run it from another computer or another phone.
Yeah. I might have come home slightly inebriated and threw it at the ground.
Dope.
Yeah, that'll do it every time.
In a comedic fashion.
Was
I
it
wasn't mad.
Was it like before or after you drunk tweeted me?
Yes.
Okay.
Both?
Probably.
I
both.
did that before, and then I went upstairs and did it from my computer.
Oh, good.
All right. One more thing we want to hit on. We're already at our normal stop time, but since it's E3, we got a lot to talk about. We got to hit on Nintendo. What were you going to say?
I want Halo news.
Okay.
I have Halo news.
There is some brief Halo news because that's one thing we didn't mention that Microsoft showed off at their.
I want it so bad.
Was a new Halo video, and then what were you going to talk about? The beta. For the PC?
So they got the beta for the Master Chief Collection, which I don't really care about. Whatever. Who cares about the Master Chief Collection? It's all old games. Who cares about that?
Owen.
Probably a bunch of people. Sorry, it's coming out on the computer. Blah 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 blah. There's a closed beta for the Master Chief Collection Halo Reach. Go and drink your sorrows away. The fact that you're not going to be included in the closed beta. That's cool. But they also talked about the timeline and more stuff for Halo Infinite, which was what I was interested in. And I can't believe I just opened up WCCF Tech on my Firefox browser because it's horrible. Anyway, so at the bottom. Here's what they had. The article gave a reference note for everything we know about the Halo Infinite, which is holiday 2020 release date, right?
Cross-gen.
It's going to work on cross-gen, including Scarlet.
Yep.
So we'll be out on the One X.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, I know. It really saved my day today. After I read about Project Scarlet, I clicked on his link. I was like, that's what they're going to release Halo on.
Yes, they are, but also on
the
X.
other one. Yeah. So I'll be able to play. LAN supported, which is nice. Split screen supported, which is nice. And a bunch of other stuff. Anyway, go check the link out. Anyway, that's all. I wanted to just say there was some Halo Infinite. They did a recap on the article, but also talked about it a little bit. But the closed beta does look really cool, like what they're doing with the Master Chief Collection, moving it to PC.
And they keep saying that they're going to treat the PC as first class.
Yeah,
like not going to be just a lazy port,
which is what they've always done in the past. Kind of like, hey, we did this for the console because they were pushing consoles.
Yeah,
I mean, they were pushing their console on you, and now they're like, hey, maybe you should just combine your gaming, your luxury, and your business on one device and have this gaming PC.
Microsoft has finally realized that the best, and I agree, the best way to approach it is just give everyone every way possible to play their games.
Yeah.
If you want to stream it, if you want to play it on PC, if you want to play it on the Xbox. But the point is they want you to buy the games, play the games.
Well, and they really... With the PC, it was almost like choice paralyzation, like paralyzed by choice. There was too many settings on the PC. Like they're like, I gotta have what? I gotta do what? I gotta change what setting?
Are you talking about consumer paralysis?
No, choice paralysis. Like when there's too many things to choose or think about, it becomes...
It just results in me playing with the settings rather than the game, which I'm fine with.
Yeah.
That's fun too.
But I think Microsoft's done a big push to try and streamline the gaming idea on PC.
Yep.
And because on a console, it was super easy. My kids could put in a disc, or me, I mean, I'm not going to say I'm better than my kids in that way. I could put in a disc
So you'd
and I
rate
could
yourself-
I
play.
don't have to say it.
You'd rate yourself at an 8 as
Yeah,
well?
I mean, no, I'm gonna say my kids are better version. So I'm like a 6. My parents probably rated me like a 6, maybe even a 4 or 5 growing up.
How often would you go outside?
I mean, a lot
Oh,
because I'm in the weird analog and digital straddle both. I remember when Nintendo didn't exist. I remember when, and we didn't have an Atari because it was kind of like it wasn't. I don't know. That was for adults. Anyway, so I live in this weird analog and digital world where I was outside most of my childhood, but now as an adult, I'm making up for it by never going outside.
Makes
Anyway,
sense.
so yeah, I mean, it was. I think now I could just put in a disc and it would play and it would be good and fine and easy. But now with PCs and stuff, they've tried to really bridge that gap, make it less daunting to play on the
Yeah.
PC.
Well, that makes sense too.
And the price to entry has lowered
Yep.
quite significantly.
All right, so we teased this at the beginning, and I almost forgot to talk about it. The Nintendo Direct announcements, 20 some odd
we need
minutes.
to maybe go pretty quick on this.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Oh, yeah.
You got somewhere to be?
No,
Okay.
I just feel bad for the people. They're staying after work
Hey,
to
they
listen
can
to this.
they can pause it anytime they
Yeah.
want and come
What?
back later, and that's
They
how
can?
podcasts work. Yeah.
Oh,
So they showed off Animal Crossing New Horizons again. Did say it is delayed until 2020 because they want to get it perfect.
or as they
said.
call it, the Stardew Valley replacement.
That's pretty much what it's going to be for a lot of people. They showed off a pretty kind of a funny little video that introed the next DLC character for Smash Brothers, which will be Banjo-Kazooie.
That they acquired
Yay.
from Microsoft, right? Rare.
Yeah, they did. They did a deal with Microsoft so they could have Banjo-Kazooie
Do you
because
think-
Rare is owned by Microsoft.
Do you think that this means maybe some Banjo Kazooie proper in the future? Do you
Maybe. I don't know.
Do new characters excite you for Super Smash Brothers, which
Nah.
already has like 100?
No, it doesn't get me back in the
Yeah,
game at
I
all.
don't care, and I never had any sort of attachment to Banjo Kazooie in the first place. So, but there's a lot of people out there that are really excited for this, and it's really not that. I mean, I guess it is kind of rare. Get
This
it?
is the third one, right?
Oh,
Because the Banjo Kazooie is owned by a company that produces a competing console. Whereas all the other crossovers they
Yeah.
have in Smash Brothers are just from other game developers, not from other hardware manufacturers.
But this is the
So-
third edition, right?
Third
You got
edition what?
Piranha Plant, Joker, and then
No, I think Joker was one because Piranha Plant was free. There's 4 paid.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I just meant expandable characters.
Yeah, third one. Yeah,
But the next one's the last one.
no, I think there's 2 more.
Oh, cool.
If I remember, they showed off more of the Legend of Zelda: Link's Awakening remake, which looks pretty cool.
That's gonna be a day one buy for me.
Yeah, it looks pretty cool. I like the style.
Yeah, that's the thing that
it
sells
looks
me on
like
it.
It looks like a tabletop action.
It's got the tilt shift on it.
Yeah, plastic characters.
It almost looks like
It just
like a
looks cool.
claymation to me.
Yeah.
Like Borderline. My question is do you think it's going to be the original version or do you think it's going to be the Game Boy Color version? Because the Game Boy Color had the boots.
I don't know. That's
the
a
other-
good question.
I know they won't do this, but if they priced that at $40, that'd be an instant buy for me.
I think it's going to be 49.
50,
Really?
You think it'll be 50?
I think it's
huh?
going to be 50.
That's not bad.
Yeah. They announced Dragon Quest 11S, Echoes of an Elusive Age, Definitive Edition. I guess that game already came out. I'm not really a Dragon Quest guy. So I don't
Dragon
know.
Quest, are those all played the same way or was that just Inquisition?
That's Dragon Age. Different game series.
Stop naming your stuff similar.
Luigi's Mansion 3, release date.
That looks pretty good.
And yeah, that could be
just-
fun if you like the Luigi's Mansions.
They
Yeah.
just said something about that. Like Nintendo said that they're taking extra special care of that to like bring fans back. 'Cause I guess
Yeah.
they lost fans.
I don't know. More Mana games, Collection of Mana and Trials of Mana. We got No More Heroes 3, which that's a weird series, but it might be fun if you like the first 2, I bet. A new remake of Panzer Dragoon.
Oh, that's a
That's
tank game.
interesting.
It is interesting because that
That's a
was
Sega game.
Sega Saturn game.
Yeah.
And they're doing a full-on remake of that on the Switch, so that could be neat. Cadence of Hyrule, which is already out, I believe, came out like last week or this week. And then the 2 real big surprises that everyone went, over was one, they're porting the full complete Witcher 3 game to the Switch,
Yeah, it's crazy.
which is crazy.
I'm so curious how that's going to run. I don't think it'll.
So there's been
run too great.
there's been a Digital Foundry video on it already that's examined the footage that they've shown, and yeah, you're getting visuals are taking a big hit because that game is very demanding to begin with, and to cram it onto a Switch. But here's the thing: the visuals are going to take a big hit, but if it gets a solid 30 frames per second, it'll be worth it. The visual downgrade.
I think I'm gonna have to get this collection of Mana games
There you go.
because Secret of Mana was like my jam. I really like that game.
That one's in this collection,
Yeah.
isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, and they're also re-releasing. It's called Seiken
Is it going to have Legend of Mana too?
Seiken Densetsu, which is in the United States is going to be called Trials of Mana, and and they'll have Final Fantasy Adventure in that same collection.
So there was Secret of Mana. Was there? What was the other one? The one that came out on the PlayStation, wasn't it? There was wasn't there a Mana game on the PlayStation?
We didn't have it, so we were
maybe I'm thinking of something else.
But
It's got like 3 or 4 games in it, right?
Yeah, it's got 3. It's got Secret of Mana, predecessor, and it's along with the predecessor Final Fantasy Adventure, which was a really fun game on Game Boy.
Mm-hmm.
And then its sequel, Seiken Densetsu 3, which is basically Secret of Mana 2, but they're calling it
By its Japanese name.
Trials of Mana is what they're going to call it in this collection.
Okay, cool. And then we got also, this is the one that made people freak out, a direct sequel to Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild.
I think it just made people freak out because we just weren't ready.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Nobody expected that at all.
How long did it take to develop the first one? 5 years?
5 years.
But they
they're
waited for
using,
hardware.
They're using straight up the same assets
Right.
and graphics.
So it'll probably be another 2 years out at least, though.
It's
Yeah.
made by the same people who made Majora's Mask, so they're used to like everything being on fire.
yeah.
Well, and Nintendo doing? I've heard rumors on Nintendo's maybe doing something, a mini Switch or something smaller.
Yeah,
I've heard.
There's been rumors floating around.
They're going to make
about
the
that.
Switch smaller?
Yeah, that doesn't have detachable. It's
Yeah.
basically like a Game Boy.
I mean, we'll call it what it is. It's a Game Gear.
Yeah, or Game Gear. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
you said the magic word.
I know. I was going to get Jarron riled up.
Yeah,
with that.
you said that word, but 3 batteries died in this house.
Right as he said it.
It's like the V word, but for batteries.
As soon as you say it, 3 batteries
Gear.
die somewhere.
All right, I think that's it.
No, you missed the most important story of them all.
Oh, great.
Boaty McBoatface
Oh, yeah.
made
Did
a
it sink?
groundbreaking scientific discovery
Groundbreaking.
on its first mission.
Did you say sound breaking?
He did.
Sound-breaking scientific discovery.
It's loud out there.
Anyway, it found out that high winds in the Antarctic, because they're growing in strength, it causes the deep current in the sea to get the warmer water in the mid-level of the ocean current to go. Did you just mute me?
No, I'm trying to turn you up
Why
so
are-
that you stop yelling.
Why are you turning mine up? It hurt I specifically asked to be turned down.
Sorry, science and Boaty McBoatface
that
makes me
better?
excited.
Apparently.
It's this one.
Ugh.
There, talk now, Jarron.
Oh, wow, I can talk so much quieter now.
Yeah, you can stop yelling.
Hey, I like that.
All right.
So,
Well, there you go. Boaty McBoatface.
anyway, strong winds in
Making
the region
science.
is causing the warm water from the middle levels with the colder water in the abyss to mix, and it's causing sea temperature levels to rise.
Which is causing the bottom layer of glaciers to melt.
Yep.
Faster.
Thank you, Boaty McBoatface.
Pretty soon.
Never give the internet a choice. That's
Pretty
what
soon-
That's what we've learned from Boaty McBoatface.
Yeah.
Wait, what would the iceberg that's going to take down Boaty McBoatface be called?
Icy McIceberg.
Yep.
Oh,
It's true.
it's like they were made for each other.
Unless McDonald's already has that patented for like a sandwich or something. Who knows?
They're like, there's an
knows?
industry in this.
Yeah.
All right, guys. That was a long episode. Thanks for making it to the end if you did. We had a lot of fun talking about E3 stuff. It's the most wonderful time of the year.
Have I been shouting
as
this
far
whole
as,
time?
Yeah, as
Yeah.
far as gadgets go.
Oh, man, I'm sorry.
That's all right. That's why I keep turning you down on the board, and then you're like, why am I so quiet? Just turn your headphones up.
No, because the control's right by Owen and you. It's
Yeah,
really...
well.
I wish that people had mood rings around their face the majority of the time.
You mean like facial expressions?
Yeah, you got to look people in the eyes to get that. James.
Sociopaths
I've
don't
learned-
understand that.
I know. I've had to learn it.
That was a really good answer. Like really, really good.
All right, that's it for us. Thanks for listening to the end. We appreciate you and your download. Owen, take us out.
Hey, we hope you care.
Gadget Spot.